You're listening to littlepodcast.com. Pretty sure you can go to the Epstein Island now and it's fine. It's just an island now.
Dear customer, this is Olivia from Apple Support.
Something against women and minorities.
People that tell you that they only watch college basketball, watch out for those people.
Erect recess. I had a couple of those in middle school and they were not good.
Welcome to Born in the 80s, episode 407. I'm your host, John Danger, joined by my co-hosts.
Matt Hag.
TJ May?
Spanky works.
Hey, it worked. I pointed correctly, boys.
Good job.
Good job.
So on the video version of the podcast, which nobody watches, you'll be able to get that.
I don't recommend watching the video
Yeah, don't
version
watch
of the
Yeah,
podcast.
it's
Trash.
just
I know I don't.
there's nothing. There's nothing for you here.
Okay, we're done.
Yeah,
Let's all right, done with the episode. Matt, boost me and Spanky in World of Warcraft.
Pay
Classic,
me.
please. I can't pay you.
You have
I can pay
you
you.
have a job. You can buy gold and then give me that gold to
No,
boost you.
because buying gold is wrong, and I refuse to ever do it. And people that do buy gold should be banned. Like, that's how it should work.
No more changes.
It does not happen. Ooh, what we got a ping in our guild Discord. Oh, and the meme. Someone at everyone. Oh, someone at Tubbied a meme.
What?
Do you ever like? I feel like even though you know it's your character's name, if my character was named Tubby, just having people call me that constantly would eventually wear me down and like really fuck with my self-image.
I don't know. It's just not me.
Maybe I just have more dysmorphia than you.
I guess. Do you want them sweet or salty? And then this guy's asking for popcorn. He says, "Do you want them sweet or salty?" To which I respond, "I want them like her, my girlfriend." And then the person responds, "We do not have ugly popcorn."
I don't know what. Did somebody in our guild just call your girlfriend ugly?
Well, I think what they're
Also,
doing
does
is
Lauren know you have a girlfriend?
Well, anyway, yes, it's my secret family that I have in Iowa, but and she knows all about them, so it's cool.
Yeah.
But it's general yelling. Someone at everyone that we're recording. Let me give it that little react on Discord.
Man, this is a good podcast so far.
Wow. Well, what have you brought to the table besides shitting on me constantly?
Oh, man.
Oh, man. I'll tell you what I watched recently.
What did you watch recently? You know what I watched recently? The Fall of Western Civilization.
We've all been watching that. I watched Escape from New York and Escape from LA last night, and they're
Escape
fucking
from New York
quality.
is such a good music.
A music?
A good music.
It's a good music.
It's a good music.
I have maybe done drinking.
What's funny about that is that Escape from New York has like a noticeable lack of music to the point where it's really like it freaks me out. There's just like there should be soundtrack here right now, but John Carpenter was like, nah, it's fine.
What you can and probably should do is just put on like a YouTube 24-hour synthwave playlist while you watch Escape from New York, and it would work fine.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, man, I want to do a concept album that's just like an alternate soundtrack to Escape from New York. And that
explain to me
how you make the big money.
Explain to me what Escape from New York is about. What is that?
So there's this guy. His name is Snake Plissken.
His name is Solid Snake, and he has to...
Fun fact, Solid Snake was named after Snake Plissken.
I know that. Don't you think I know that? Don't you think I know all about snakes?
I don't know.
So the copperhead is like super poisonous. I'm a herpetologist.
Copperheads are not super poisonous.
What about Snake Plissken?
That's the guy.
Pliskin is like the inside of the foreskin.
Yeah. No, well, it's like the bacterial kind of stuff that builds up in there.
Smegma.
Yeah. It's a frothy mixture of cum and lube.
So
no, wait, that's Santorum. Yes.
So that's what the movie's about?
No, so the movie
mixture of semen and
yes,
lube? Oh.
yes. No, the movie is about. It came out in 1981, so it's about the far off future of 1997, where New York has just been quarantined as a giant supermax prison. And so they take all of their criminals and just go like, here, you live in New York now, and there's guards set up around. And the president's airplane, I think they call it Air Force One or something.
Really?
Gets hijacked.
I've seen that film.
And they crash him into the city, and he's like in a survival pod. And he's got a cassette tape with the secret to nuclear fusion on it. And he's got to get to a summit. So they're like, we need somebody to go in and rescue the president. But the people that took him hostage will kill him if they see us coming in with soldiers. But luckily, Snake Plissken is here. He's just about to be sent to prison because he like robbed the Fed or something, and then he has to go rescue the president.
Okay. Who's the president? Who plays the president?
Nobody I've seen before. Generic white bald guy.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Although,
but
the generic white guy we're going to have for president next is going to have a beautiful mane of silver hair with beautiful.
His hair is blonde, actually.
Oh.
His hair is invisible.
No. His hair is blonde, and he's got like orange makeup on all the time.
Oh, you're talking about.
Oh, he's the Cheeto in chief.
They call him the Orange Fox.
Yeah, the boy, huh? Koveffi.
Yeah. And so, Escape from L.A. is about
the same, but L.A.
No, it's not a prison. The America elects a super fundamentalist Christian president who then makes himself president for life and decides that he is going to an area around LA gets like separated from the mainland by a giant earthquake, and then he's like, that's where I'm going to deport all of the undesirables to. So it's just like this area with all of the fun people that like to party.
Okay.
Yeah, and I feel like I would want to go to that one instead.
Yeah, I want to go to the Party Island. Isn't that where the Lolita Express plane takes you?
No, that's a different one. Those, I feel like the government doesn't deport those people. They just promote them.
Oh, okay, they become the leaders of our country, is what you're telling me. Okay, so I definitely want to go on that island.
Can we get somebody to clip out John saying he wants to go to the Epstein Island and just
Matt? What did you just say? Can you say that again? Can you say that again? Matt wants to go where?
That's not what I said. For one,
I'm pretty sure you can go to the Epstein Island now and it's fine. It's just an island now. Actually, that's where he is. He didn't kill himself.
Yeah, that's
what is gonna happen to that place? Like, does somebody own it now?
Flight Simulator.
Is it gonna become a sandals resort? What the
fuck is sandals?
It's like it's a resort for old people.
Okay, I searched the Jeffrey Epstein. I just searched Jeffrey Epstein private island, and the first thing that came up is the horrors of Jeffrey Epstein's private island Vanity Fair archive.
Okay, yeah, but so also
we probably shouldn't make fun of this.
Okay, but also, can you find an article about like the real estate law of what happens?
Oh my god, it's from obviously it's in the Virgin Islands.
Well, that is just hacky comedy.
That's what you subscribed to Born in the 80s for, everyone.
I think podcast subscriptions are free because we would have lost all of our fucking money by now if they weren't.
So anyway, you can fly to Epstein's Island. Jeffstein.
I just want to point out that the leader of fucking John's guild in World of Warcraft is named Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffy.
Oh, okay,
yeah, John,
it's very different. Never
you
mind.
Should be ashamed of yourself.
Disregard what I've said.
You know,
what's really funny is call him Canadian.
Talk out of turn. What?
What's really funny is call him Canadian, and you'll get a whole rant about how Newfoundland isn't really Canadian.
That guy is very Canadian, as is our raid leader. They're aggressively Canadian.
No, John, haven't you been paying attention? Newfoundland is completely different.
That's where the Trailer Park Boys are from.
Yeah,
I thought they were like Nova Scotia.
Oh, I think you're right.
Newfoundland and Labrador is part of the Maritimes, but just north of where Ewan's from. Well, not north of where Ewan was born, but north of where Ewan is.
Sorry, you're right. It's Nova Scotia. They both start with N, so I was confused. It's like even further north. Wow, it's really north.
But where's Rush from?
Rush? Rush is from Limbo.
Russia. It's short for Russia.
Ah.
The famous Russian band, Rush.
Yeah. Yes.
Moscow, Moscow. Dun, 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 dun,
No, what did they sing? They sang that. What's the famous Rush song?
Tom Sawyer?
No, I think it's War Pigs by Rush.
War Pigs. Okay, Rush. Tom Sawyer lyrics.
No, it's Tommy. Rush is
not
Tommy.
YYZ. It's YYZ.
Stairway to Heaven by Rush.
Okay, here it is. Here's Rush. A modern day warrior, mean stride. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride. That's them, right? I remember that.
You did a spot-on impression of Russia.
Yeah.
Though his mind is not for it, don't put him down as arrogant. He's reserve a quiet defense, riding out today's events, the river.
If you keep talking in that accent, Donald Trump is going to marry you.
Yeah.
Haha, he has sex with Vladimir Putin.
Vladimir
I was
Putin.
talking about his wife, but my wife.
No.
Did we talk about how Borat 2 is getting made already?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Like, hey.
Can you please not?
I'm not kidding.
I know you're not kidding. Wait, it just says right now, I'm Googling, it says Borat 2 is not done yet. Not being made.
I don't know.
Oh, wait, no, it says it's definitely being filmed. So they were lying about that.
Yeah, somebody saw him, like, filming in a car.
I mean, that's the way you have to do it. So.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird that he's married to Isla Fisher?
I don't...
Who is
like a whole island?
Oh, no, that's the... I'm sorry, Isla Fisher is the fourth dinosaur island on Jurassic Park. You've got Isla Nublar, whatever the one the new fucking movies is on.
Yeah, that's Isla Cash Money.
And then you have Isla Fisher.
So Isla Fisher, what is she? You know,
I think she was Pam in The Office. Isla Fisher.
Yeah, she was Pam in The Office, and she was in that movie Arrival, and she won an Academy Award for that.
Yeah, was she was the one arriving? You know what's funny? The original title for Arrival was just Coming. Didn't test very well.
You're right. Do you know what the original name for Wedding Crashers was? This movie fucking sucks. That's the original title, but they had to change it.
I saw that, I assume, in the theater, and I don't think I've seen it since then. I think I will.
The movie came out in 2005.
Okay, so that makes sense. I was like, I feel like it was the kind of movie I liked when I was a dumb teenager.
Yeah, exactly. That was a movie that high school John loved.
Mm-hmm. Well, because there were boobs in it. There's a boob montage. That's literally all I remember from that movie.
On Rotten Tomatoes, the film has an approval rating of 75%.
Why?
Wait a minute. The director of Wedding Crashers also directed other movies such as Shanghai Nights, right? The Change Up, R.I.P.D., King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, the recently made Eurovision Song Contest.
Wait, is that King Arthur, the Clive Owen one?
No, maybe. No, it's the one with Guy Ritchie.
Never saw it.
No, he didn't direct that. Sorry, he was the producer of. He directed a famous movie that everyone who's born in the 80s fan knows, Fred Claus.
Oh, God. He was like, man, I just really have to fucking work with Vince Vaughn again. He's so pleasant and nice to work with.
I hear he's got really unproblematic views as well.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't surprise me. Speaking of, like, honest, Chris and I rewatched the first 2 Jurassic Parks recently, and Vince Vaughn's in the second one as like a badass environmentalist, and it's just not a believable character at all. Just like, I can't believe you not playing an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a Republican and supports Ron Paul and Rand Paul.
Yeah.
I actually didn't
know those Paul brothers
about...
are just out of control.
I didn't. Ron Paul is Rand Paul's father.
That was a Jake and Logan Paul joke. It was very funny.
See, I'm glad I didn't get that because that means I'm old now, and I'm okay with this.
Wait, so Jake and Logan Paul are related to Rand Paul? That's correct?
Yeah.
That's canon now.
Yep. And, oddly enough, related to Paula Abdul.
Paula Abdul's the
Which,
mom.
Of course, means they're related to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
That's how it works.
This is how names work.
And then
Kareem
they're also related.
His son got arrested for stabbing someone to death last weekend.
Well, he stabbed him with a Gom Jabbar.
I don't know what that is. Hey,
I watched a movie recently.
Hey, if you're listening right now, whether or not you're the son of a famous person, just don't stab anyone.
You guys, the term Gom Jabbar doesn't mean anything to you. The high-handed enemy?
The
metacyanide poison needle that sat upon a thimble and thus could be attached to a person's fingertip?
You're just speaking nonsense right now.
The Gom Jabbar, the test of humanity. It kills only animals. Let me say I suggest you may be human. Steady, I warn you not to try jerking away. I am old, but my hand can drive this needle into your neck before you can escape me. You guys really need to read the book Dune and watch the David Lynch film Dune, which I watched on Thursday.
Oh, do I? Do I really have to?
Gom Jabbar. It's a little needle with cyanide. Hey guys, wait, podcast break.
Dear customer, this is Olivia from Apple Support. We have found some suspicious activities in your iCloud account that your iCloud account has been breached. Before using any Apple device, please contact the Apple Support Advisor. Press 1 to connect with Apple Support Advisor.
I'm not going to press 1. As much as I would like to, I would be more on their list, I think.
You got to respect their tenacity. They're like, we'll just keep calling them with the same message over and over and over again.
Thank you.
So I'm answering these now because they have called me. That's 13 times. It's every 20 minutes since about 5:30 today. And if I don't answer it, they just leave a voicemail message with the last half of that spiel. And so now my voicemail box, I have to open up and delete 20 fucking voicemails.
What is probably happening to you is something that I'm pretty sure happened to me a while ago, where it seems like they just set up their auto dialer wrong, and it's dialing your number over and over again when it's supposed to be giving that message to different numbers every time.
Yeah.
But I was getting a spam. I think it was a text message that I was getting every 5 minutes on the 5 minute. Yeah,
it's literally every 20 minutes. So I think they're just going through that. I mean,
they'll figure it out.
Whatever.
You should call them back and be hey, I don't know if you know this, but your auto dialer's set up wrong. I just want to help you out. And,
Yeah, you keep calling me. I don't actually have an iTunes account, so...
Yeah.
No, but you guys have never seen the David Lynch Dune film or read the book Dune?
Nope.
I read the book in middle school.
The book is it's one of my favorite sci-fi books. I only bring it up because...
Just the first one? Have you read any of the other ones?
I have not, but I've heard that all the other ones written by Frank Herbert are also good. And then the ones that are written...
3 of them, right?
Yeah, and then his son took over after he passed away, and those aren't as high quality. I like the Dune series because they have a lot of famous things. The movie David Lynch decided to change some really key things about the book, specifically the weirding way. Do you know what the weirding way is?
Nope.
So the weirding way is a thing that Paul Atreides is taught, and it's just a style of like combat, and it's actually really cool because the books kind of go into this like like Eastern philosophy about like controlling your bodies, like all of your physiological functions, like how like the like Tibetan monks can slow their heart rates and all that stuff. So like it's a way, an ability, I think, with the aid of the spice, to like make yourself be like superhuman in speed and like combat. So you're like this badass combat guy. But in the movie, David Lynch said that he didn't want a bunch of guys doing kung fu on sand dunes. So he made the weirding way like a gun that when you yell, it shoots, which is a weird choice.
Yeah.
But, the movie's really good because it's David Lynch, so it's really weird. But also, like, the style is just insane. I mean, you have to... Sting plays a villain in it quite well. There's a pug in the movie at one point. But the Gom Jabbar test of humanity is... there's this device that they put on like a dude. So, like, Paul Atreides is, like... They're testing him to see if he's the fucking... There's a lot to this plot. Because like they like it's like space what is it called when you're like
space opera,
when you're like breeding people.
Oh, space eugenics.
Yes, there's like a lot of space eugenics in this because they get like different like there's a society of like witch ladies that are like getting like bloodlines to become like to make the perfect human being basically, and so they're testing him. And it's this fucking awesome test where they take the Gom Jabbar, which is like a poison tipped needle, and they hold it to your neck, and then you put your hand in this box that is like the pain box, and if you move your hand away, you'll be killed basically. Because the idea is it's like mind over matter, like because that the box isn't doing anything to your hand, but you know that if you actually pull your hand away, you'll die. And so it's like the test of humanity. Like animals don't understand that, so they'll just immediately pull away from any stimulus. And so the whole point is like moving your mind. I love that fucking book though, because the whole like mantra is fear is the mind killer, fear is the little death, and like trying to overcome your fears, which is a really cool thing. I love it. I love the book. The movie's really good, and I only bring it up, and we watched it because, of course, Denis Villeneuve, maker of Coming. The movie that came out
with Coming
with Isla Fisher in it a couple years back. Director of Arrival and Sicario is directing a new Dune adaptation, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, which has like everybody in it.
Every single actor you can name.
Kevin Spacey.
No.
Well,
Jared Fogle.
He's not an actor.
Not an actor.
Except he acted like he wasn't a monster for a little while.
Yeah, he did act like he wasn't a pedophile, so. Okay, Timothy Chalamet.
I don't know what he looks like,
Timothy
but
Chalamet?
I have to assume it's like...
Josh Brolin. Timothy Chalamet looks like Matt 10 years ago. Is that a compliment, Matt?
I don't know. How do you spell his last name?
It's like
Chalamet,
just like it sounds.
Josh Brolin, Oscar Isaac, Stellan Skarsgård.
No, his face is much more angular than mine.
Zendaya.
I don't have that jawline.
Well, you could work at it. Get some plastic surgery. Jason Momoa, Javier Bardem. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. I like Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah,
Hans Zimmer is doing the soundtrack. You know what I love about
soundtrack? You say that's new for him.
You know what Hans Zimmer is doing on the soundtrack of? He was approached by Christopher Nolan to compose the music for the film Tenet, but Zimmer said, "No, I'm going to do this Dune movie."
Nice,
which is awesome because fuck Christopher Nolan and trying to get people to come to movie theaters this weekend.
Also, fuck.
Oh,
Tenet.
is that releasing now?
I've seen the trailers several times, and people are like, "Oh man, it's gonna be so good!" Like, what the fuck is like? It looks like every movie. Like, it looks like I just watched like someone who took a class on what movies look like now, and just decided to make like the least common denominator of everything.
I think it looks cool. I'm not gonna go see it in a theater, but
I think it does look cool, and I like.
It looks like an Inception with time travel.
Yeah. Oh, what I am going to go into the theaters to see, though, is The New Mutants, a movie in which they didn't send any screener copies out to any critics.
Are they?
So
they're releasing that in
I feel
theaters?
like they filmed that movie in like 2014.
They did.
And they just have been like trying to make it not suck for 6 years, and now they're just like, well, theaters are closed anyway, might as well push this turd out.
Yeah, if it didn't suck, they would have just released it on Disney Plus.
Well, they, I don't know if they would, because it's PG-13. Like, it sounds like they basically made a movie, and the director and guy who created it was like, I want to make a superhero movie that is kind of like the Breakfast Club of superheroes.
But it's also supposed to be like a superhero horror movie.
No, it wasn't supposed to be that. But then they were like, no, they filmed that version and it sucked or was so bad or whatever that nobody liked it. Or they wanted to pivot to differentiate from like the Marvel franchise to make a more horror-based movie.
Yeah, and this is back when Fox was still a separate company than Disney.
Correct. Yeah, and so it's the tone has, I guess, shifted so much with like reshoots and stuff. They actually never did any reshoots, I guess. They were talking about doing them. But like what happened was that like the Disney acquisition happened, and then everyone that was involved with this movie stopped working on it. And I believe someone said that the movie was so bad that they were just going to never release it, basically. But now that like the fucking coronavirus has happened, they're like, just fucking throw it out. Well, we could probably make some money off this. It'll be the only thing in the theaters.
Yeah. It's going to be at number one.
I'm sure this is a movie some people will really like to be super contrarian because it's not a Marvel film.
It's going to get all those like Batman v Superman diehards.
I don't know about that. Those people are...
Aw, man, release the Snyder Cut.
Hey, it's coming out. There's a trailer for it.
So here's the thing about the Snyder Cut. Whenever, oh, nice, you got the fucking Blade Runner going on. Yeah.
The ones that cut me out from the background look like shit, though.
Yeah. So
well, no, it's not too bad.
My favorite thing about the opening of Blade Runner is that they assume Pan Am is still going to be a country, and I'm pretty sure it went bankrupt like 3 years after the movie came out.
Yeah. Well, it'll come back. It'll be retro, and then it'll come back.
Have we already? No. Blade Runner's in 2040 something.
Guys, we got some really good tweets here I want to go over.
Hold on. I was going to say my opinion on the Snyder Cut first.
Okay, that doesn't exist.
When I watched that movie in theaters, one of the only movies in theaters I watched and was like, I had no fun. This was a bad fucking thing to watch in the movies. The other one I did would have been that way, but I was so fucking shit-faced I had to go vomit like 3 times, which was the Hellboy movie that just came out with not Ron Perlman.
Oh, yeah, with
that movie
with Hopper.
I streamed it whenever it came to HBO. It's fucking terrible. It's so bad.
That's
which is a shame because the dude who played, and I always forget his name, the guy who plays Hopper in
Mr. Hooper.
Yeah,
the guy who plays Hopper in Stranger Things. He's a perfect like not Ron Perlman, but like another person who could be Hellboy. He's great at it, and the movie is just complete like dog shit. Like there's nothing in it makes any sense. It's all non sequitur. Like it. But when I was shit-faced in watching it, it was great. Anyway, so when I got out of Justice League, I was like, man, somebody at Marvel or at DC owes me a better version of this movie because this sucked so bad. And then, like, the nerds started, like, the fucking non-Snyder Cut was, and like I hate those people, so like then I was anti-Snyder Cut even though I do want a better version of that movie. So I'm split. Yes, I want a better version of that movie because I feel like I was cheated out of like the $10 it took me to go see it, but also I don't want to like give in to the nerds because they suck ass. Anyway, what about these tweets, John?
What I just said tweets about how J.K. Rowling did nothing wrong. We talked about.
Oh, you must be reading
Lance
at
tweets?
real_Lance_man on Twitter.com. Everyone who's listening at real_Lance_man, tweet at him saying "fuck you, you scumbag."
Did J.K. Rowling say anything wrong? I mean, there's women and there's trans women. Obviously, they aren't the same thing. That's what his opinion is.
Yeah. I know John doesn't want to like be too mean.
He's just an LGB guy.
Yeah. You really think he's like cool with lesbians? Doesn't he hate all women?
Well, he's cool with lesbians because they don't want to be around him.
We got some really good ones. We got some really good ones. We got some more. There's some real action happened the last couple of days. I don't know, some stuff happened the last couple of days that kind of really made some people say some shit that they weren't asked to say. Like someone retweeting Brian Urlacher's statement about the NBA players boycotting the playoffs. But anyway, and it wasn't a boycott; it was a strike. It was a player strike. But I know if I felt oppressed, I would burn the shit out of coffee shops and shoe stores. R-word logic going strong, bro.
Man.
Getting ready for another woke hurricane with a photo of downtown windows boarded up.
They've been boarded up.
Rip. Oh, wait, no. That one's an actual one. Rip, singer from Power Trip. Your band was awesome. Yeah, that's true. Sad. That guy passed away. This is my favorite thing ever, though. This is such a quote.
Chef kiss.
Chef kiss. 4 chef kisses. The left clearly hasn't read The Art of War. First off, love referencing Art of War as a book that anyone should read. This ancient novel by fucking Sun Tzu, which is like what asshole like fucking CEOs are like. Yeah. I've read The Art of War, so I can be hostile takeovers. It's like when an idiot thinks that smart people have read. Basically,
a sidebar. There was when I was at Full Compass and I moved up.
I totally read that book when I was in fucking high school, and I was like, "This is so cool that I'm reading this." And it's just like fucking battle strategies from Chinese War. Okay.
But I got promoted to the purchasing department, and there wasn't a manager in charge of that. So there was the guy in the office that volunteered to have as much extra work as possible was like the temporary manager that nobody liked.
Got it. Yeah.
And he had that book in his office.
Of course he did. Gotta have my Art of War. It's like the fucking Parks and Rec. When what's his name? Ron Swanson has like a gun on a stand that he points at like where you sit down.
Yeah,
it's like the fucking power move trying to do. Anyway, the left hasn't clearly read The Art of War. Here we go. Why haven't they read it, guys? How would the left not have read have read The Art of War? What possibly would tip you off?
Because something against women and minorities.
You're so close. Clearly, the left hasn't read The Art of War. Chapter 1 is not titled Bitch and Moan.
Oh, my God.
What does that even have to do with anything? It's such an insane analogy.
Yeah.
He hasn't read The Art of War because the chapters are not about how to create war.
Yeah. Nobody is owed years in life, happiness in life, not a goddamn thing. Do for yourself.
Okay, so he's trying to be a libertarian now.
Sure.
I think he's found some libertarian dick that he really likes, so he just put on this pink coat real hard.
Guys, let's retweet a tweet that says someone shot rioters and my reaction is supposed to be sadness, ?
Did you know that if you throw a brick at something, that automatically is a death sentence, and everybody should be cool with that?
Everyone should be judged. I mean, one of his favorite comics is
why do we even have like the court system anymore? Let's just have vigilantes executing people.
Guys, did you know that BLM is a movement based in harassment and violence? Fuck those people.
That's making me sad. Can we stop reading Lance tweets?
What? I mean, he's someone.
I'm just depressed that his vote counts as much as mine.
Well, he's not going to vote.
Oh, good.
Why would he? He's not going to go vote. Man.
My favorite John doesn't want to be too harsh directly to Lance because they were friends before he went fucking crazy. But
I feel like the friendship kind of ends when you start saying bigoted things about trans women.
Yeah.
And,
but I never knew you, so get AIDS and die, you scumbag.
Saying shit about multiple innocent people being murdered by a 17-year-old wannabe cop is pretty bad. Like taking
Honestly,
the side.
I guarantee you,
he's literally taking the side of a mass shooter.
Yeah, I don't.
If that 17-year-old gets off the hook, I $100 down on he goes to fucking police academy.
He can't.
Okay, one thing is he may not get off the hook because he only shot white people. So,
I don't think he gets off the hook.
He's got that against him.
He's not a cop. He's
in juvie though. They didn't even send him to real adult jail, which is insane.
In Wisconsin, they can try you as an adult regardless of your age.
Yeah.
So,
but they haven't extradited him to Wisconsin. He gets a little break, you know.
Ah, okay.
So is he what?
He's in TJ
Illinois.
land.
Yeah.
Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck that kid. Hey guys,
I
don't want to come off too spicy, but fuck that kid.
I don't want to talk about it too much because this podcast is supposed to be fun and that's probably one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Honestly, I don't even know that much.
I don't want to be too spicy, but if I went to a food truck and ordered some fucking tacos, and then I turned around after I got my delicious food truck tacos and I saw this kid about to fall into a wood chipper, I would eat my fucking tacos.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
Just saying.
You can get some extra sauce that way. You just position yourself in front of the wood chipper.
Oh my god!
Cheddar salsa.
It's like the most perfect example of white privilege and policing because you have this fucking kid who is 17 holding a weapon, an AR-15, which you're not allowed to own unless you're over 18.
Yeah.
But he has it out in the streets after curfew. Police coming up to him and saying, "Thank you for helping us out," giving them water. Him being interviewed by multiple people and him just saying, "We're just here to protect our business," and it's not his because he moved in up from fucking Illinois where he lived, trafficking a gun across state lines that it was illegal for him to own. Then things get spicy in a car parking lot, and he fucking pops off a shot, shooting a guy in the head, runs over to him, sees that he's bleeding out, calls 911, says, "I just shot a guy," and hangs up and runs away. People chase after him and try and take him down. A man throws a plastic bag at him and is shot in the head or in the chest. Another guy falls down and he turns around and starts shooting into the air, hitting another person in the arm. And then he runs a few more blocks down the street while people are yelling, "This guy just shot someone." And then he walks through the police line where they don't do anything and he drives home. Fucking insane.
Yeah.
It is the most insane shit I have ever, and it's all 100% filmed on camera.
It's fucking bonkers.
It is just fucking insane. And these are people protesting a black man being shot in his back when he was being detained by a police officer, or not being detained, but being stopped by a police officer. Him saying, "Am I being detained?" The officer not answering, him trying to get in his car, and him being shot in the back. Insane.
I've had people say, "Well, what was he getting into his car for?" No matter what it was not worth getting fucking execution style shot in the back 7 times. He could have been reaching in there for a nuclear fucking weapon. Not worth it.
The insane part about this whole thing is that you have that guy who reached into his car to open his car door, basically, or was opening his car door, was shot in the back, 5 times. Thank God, not killed. But this fucking asshole who, after multiple gunshots being heard in the area, comes running towards a police line holding an AR-15, people yelling, and he just shot someone, and the cops not doing a fucking thing. If that was a black man, what would have happened? It's like the perfect example of what's wrong with police.
Yeah. Well, they of course were like, "Well, he's on our side. He's one of our goons." So.
Exactly. Watch the documentary 13. It's
oh my
incredible.
God, that's a fucking depressing movie.
Everyone should watch it. It's on Netflix. And you kind of learn that police exist as a anti-African American squad, and that's the original origin.
The original police were slave catchers, and
that's where it came from.
And very specifically, the 13th Amendment abolished slavery, except if you're in prison. And then they were like, "Hey, there's a loophole."
Mm-hmm. And then you see photos of the California wildfires happening and correctional inmates working as firefighters.
Yeah, the world's
obviously
fucking dumpster fire.
Yeah, it's we need a big change.
So anyway, that's why I'm here
to text Joe to 30330 because he'll definitely.
We need Joe Mala in the White House for old white guy in the cop. That's who we need.
Biden.
I like Jamala better. I think it rolls off the tongue.
Jamala. So yeah, anyway, this kid was a real fuck face. His mom was also terrible. She's also a gun freak.
Is the mom charged? Like,
mom. She will be.
If she was driving, that at least makes her an accessory to the whole crossing.
I don't think she was driving. I mean, he's 17. He probably could drive, but I guarantee you the gun was bought by her, and so she'll get in trouble for that at the very least.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
we basically have armed militias.
Good fucking job, Kenosha. Way to be terrible.
Mm-hmm. And the reference to the Bucks tweet earlier, I think. Oh no, another tweet from the real Lance man was Giannis can leave the Bucks now, which is fine.
Okay, first of all, I just want to say
watch NBA. Specifically, has spoken about how much he hates the NBA.
Yeah, I know, but like
he has opinions about it.
I just want to say that like my hockey team, the St. Louis Blues, fucking lost. They sucked. So like I've just been looking for a sport to watch, and for whatever reason, I get Bucks. Like Bucks show up on my in the playoff games. I get them on TV. So I've been watching. Like I've seen maybe 2 Milwaukee Bucks games in my life.
They have are going on to face the Heat in the next round of the playoffs. Sorry, I just saw that earlier.
So I saw they were on. I didn't watch the game today though. But I know because like I've seen 2 games. I can probably have the same amount of knowledge, if not more, than Lance has. So I could make the same fucking opinions. Like, oh, here's a name I recognize from the Bucks, and I'm from Wisconsin. Fuck him because minorities.
Yeah, that's fine. That's it at this point. It's ignorant and stupid, and I just wanted to bring it up because I don't want our podcast to be associated with him, even though he was involved in the past. It's over. It'll never happen again. Yeah, unless something's there's very specific things.
Anyone, happen. If they want to, can go back and listen. He was like a completely different person back then.
I mean, he was still an asshole, but he was just an asshole to us, not to specific protected classes of humans.
Yeah, and he wasn't such a fucking bootlicker. he wasn't pro-fash or whatever.
Yeah, he's very pro-fascist now, so that's pretty good.
I think that he's just discovered that he really has like a sub-dom fetish thing, and he likes being a sub. So that has influenced his pro-fascism politics.
I do appreciate I do also like that he continues to retweet Ice-T, who I know he's a big fan of Ice-T and Body Count, but Ice-T is I think he said like Trump fans don't follow me. Lots of if you're not for Black Lives Matter, you're an asshole. So
I think honestly, Lance probably has like words muted on Twitter so that he can shit talk on like the NBA and Black Lives Matter, but never like see anything that responds to him.
Well, I mean, he's just a huge fan of Body Count, like the band, and so he likes Ice-T.
He's just a big Law and Order fan.
Yeah, big fan of that SVU.
Go home, gamer girl.
Do any of you watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
No, it's the cop propaganda program.
That's the thing. Like, I don't know that there's not really a conversation if no one else watches it, but like,
I've seen it.
Okay, well, like,
that's the one with Nathan.
I was just wondering what you think about like. I feel like their whole thing is that they kind of have an idealized version of a police department. So I don't know why that would necessarily have to change, other than addressing the issues, like being like, oh yeah, there's a lot of terrible shit going on right now.
Do you know who's in that?
Nathan Fillion?
No.
Oh, which person specifically?
No, you're talking about Castle. But no, Brooklyn Nine-Nine has Terry Crews in it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a good person, huh?
Are you setting me up for something bad?
Oh, you want Terry Crews to be ruined for you? Because he's got some tweets that are pretty good.
Oh, Okay.
Well,
He's got, like, a lot
he's
of
really
anti-Black Lives Matter tweets.
really worried that Black Lives Matter is really turning into a black supremacy movement.
Why
He's
are you
like-
doing this to me, John?
He's a 50-year-old rich guy, so he has
Yeah.
certain. I'm sorry to let you know that. Also, lover to my wife, father to my children, friend to my friends, and servant to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is what his Twitter profile is. So it's very religious as well. Yeah, there's lots of good tweets. Take the mask off, Terry Crews. You are.
Take the mask off.
I mean, like literally, like you're anti-black. I mean, that's what it is. Like, it's,
and nobody is more qualified to say that than you, John.
go to no, seriously, go to theroot.com, read Michael Harriot's article he put out about Terry Crews. I'm gonna put that up. He's an incredible writer about
I don't want to be this sad, John.
You can put your head in the sand, or you can
that one. I choose that one.
Okay, fair enough. I was gonna pop that in the old Bytecast discussion so people can see that article. But it's incredibly well written, and I do appreciate it. He's said some stuff that's not great. We must ensure Black Lives Matter doesn't morph into Black Lives Better. #. Did you know that defeating white
ruining my night?
Defeating white supremacy about white people. Defeating white supremacy without white people creates black supremacy. Equality is the truth. I understand he may support Black Lives Matter, but also, do you need to talk about that? Do you need to get your little opinion about how maybe Black Lives Matter shouldn't go too far? Because I don't think that anyone needs to say that right now.
I feel I have never felt less qualified to offer an opinion on what somebody else should do than right now.
That's a very good point. But he feels like he's telling people what they should do. He's speaking for all black people, I guess, is what he's trying to say.
He's the spokesperson.
Yeah, Unfortunately, that's how it ends up being, though, when you're a tokenized minority. I mean, that's a thing that's really I mean, like, I don't know if you guys listen to the podcast, How Did This Get Played?
I don't listen to podcasts. They're fucking terrible.
Yeah,
so it's like
this one
about video games, bad video games, and they did a Thanksgiving episode that was a Nick Weiger, and I forget the other comedian that did this, but they did a Thanksgiving episode where they invited on this Native American comedian to play the game Custer's Revenge, which is like the absolute stupidest thing I can ever imagine.
Did you guys?
And so they had to. And actually, the podcast is incredible to listen to, and I got to give Nick Weiger some credit for this. And if you want to listen to that episode, it's actually a really good listen because the guy comes on and basically rants about tokenism and about how it's fucked up that they basically, because he's a Native American, they had him on the Thanksgiving episode where they play a game where George Custer rapes Native American women, which is that as the bad game. And I got to give him credit; they put the episode up, but it's a great rant. And I think you should listen to it.
Do you guys know that the Ben Shapiro show is the most downloaded podcast in the world?
Yeah. Well, because I want to hear him talk about his wife's dry-ass pussy.
Her dap, if you will.
Holy shit, dude. What a joke.
I read that the other day. Like, I was, for whatever reason, I was looking at, like, I was like, are the McElroys actually, like, one of the high... And they're not. They're not in the top 10.
Oh, God, no. Nobody listens to them.
Well, I mean, a lot of people do, but because
comparatively.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't listen to podcasts. Like, here's the podcast that I know are popular. How Stuff Works. That's it. Like, I know How Stuff Works is an extremely popular podcast because people who don't even listen to podcasts have told me to listen to that.
I have never even heard of that podcast.
Hey, what?
What?
You've never heard of How Stuff Works?
No. What is that?
Well, it's Stuff You Should Know is the actual title of the podcast.
But it's by How Stuff Works, right?
Originally, they got sold off like a dozen times to different companies.
Okay.
Now they're owned by iHeartRadio. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, and they are in the top 10. I think they're like number 4 or 5. But when I looked that list up at Ben Shapiro, it was like the first. And
so
like,
I'm gonna go to Spotify's podcast charts and let's see.
I don't know if he's on Spotify. This was like a
probably Joe Rogan, right? Because
I think Spotify is a pretty good,
wasn't the Joe Rogan Experience the most downloaded podcast?
So right now,
so that kind of tells you everything you need to know.
This is the podcast charts that they have, and I don't know what is this monthly or weekly or whatever, but let's look at it. Right now, the top one is Michelle Obama's podcast. Second one is the Barstool Sports podcast called Call Her Daddy, which I'm sure is awful.
That sounds terrible.
The podcast, there's a couple news podcasts, like an NPR one and a New York Times one. Those don't count.
The Daily from New York Times was the most downloaded on this
list.
list.
Podcast on the left.
I like that one.
The most popular podcast that's a real podcast. Second is My Favorite Murder, which I really like.
I like that one too.
Then this podcast called Mama Knows Best. Don't know.
Never heard of it.
Okay, more like news ones. Office Ladies, Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey, where they go through episode.
Oh, I have heard of that one.
You got to be almost to our podcast now, right?
Of the audio. Here's Stuff You Should Know podcast by iHeartRadio. That's the one you're talking about. Yeah. So that's in like the top 15. Some other news ones. Morbid, a true crime podcast. Armchair Expert. Every Little Thing from Gimlet.
We should start a new segment on this show where every week one of us mentions a celebrity we like and John just fucking ruins them for us.
So the Ben Shapiro show from the Daily Wire is in the top 20, I'd say. It's beating Pod Save America and Joe Rogan Experience. But I bet Joe Rogan Experience probably is limited on Spotify because I'm sure you have to be in like the Joe Rogan like fucking X21 energy supplement club to get the episodes on
Joe Rogan is Spotify exclusive now.
Is he really?
Yeah. But his last podcast.
No, it's not on Spotify. Literally. The 1st of September, it will be exclusive to Spotify.
Oh,
so
not yet.
His 50-second ad is in the top like 30. So I'm sure that will be the top one when it actually is a real podcast.
Weird.
Reply All, that's a really good one. Harry Potter at Home Readings. So if you want to do
that's the one where you just shit on trans people the whole time.
Planet Money, My Brother and Me. These are some popular podcasts, but where's Born in the 80s? Born in the 80s is available on Spotify now, by the way. I got that.
Nice. Get that Spotify money.
Analytics on that.
So whatever I was looking at was an I forget the aggregate. It was an aggregate count. So like they counted Spotify's numbers, iTunes numbers, and direct listen numbers, Patreon number, all that bullshit. And they were saying that like the most downloaded of all is the Daily from New York Times, but like the most but I wouldn't really consider that a show, like in the way that I would every like most normal podcasts, because I don't listen to the Daily, but I do listen to Up First, which is the NPR's version of the Daily.
Yeah. That was also in the top 10. And
it's basically just like chopped up pieces of the newscast. Like it's not really a show to it. So like, and the first show, like actual show that you'd imagine is Ben Shapiro, and then I think the third one is Joe Rogan.
We've got analytics.
Analytics.
Whoa, analytics.
We've got 4 listeners today.
Oh, our analytics. Oh, well, we're almost there. We got to be coming up on my brother and me numbers.
We got to get to the double digits if we want to make it to the top 20 on Spotify.
Well, guys, in the last 30 days, 27 listeners.
Oh, 30. So that double digits. All right. Should we
like,
email Spotify and tell them about that? Like, maybe they just don't know.
Don't know about
like, I was born in the 80s. I'll listen to this. And then
considering I put out like one episode in the last 30 days because I fucking have been raid officering in World of Warcraft constime.
John, are you letting WoW get in the way of our podcast, our media
really
empire?
Am, because I need I need time to hang out with my wife.
My wife.
Your waifu.
Thank you. Oh, but in August, we've had 1,300 downloads of the show. That's pretty good. It's the highest month in, I think, the entire year. Episodes are averaging about 60 or 70 a piece.
I have a question. Why do celebrities have Twitter anymore? Like, it seems like it's nothing but a liability.
I know. If I it's like fucking literally Roseanne lost her entire show.
Yeah,
because of Twitter. If I was a famous person, the only account that I would do the John Cena thing, is have an Instagram account that just posts memes. That's all he does, is post memes. That's the way to be.
Yeah.
Don't have any... Well, that's like the thing, though, because then you become like Michael Jordan. And then people are like, why do you not have an opinion? Or you become like Taylor
Michael
Swift.
Jordan?
Or people are like, why do you not...
well, with Taylor Swift, it was specifically, she did have a lot of social media presence and didn't say a damam thing.
True, but I mean, like, that's because that's just kind of how it is.
Spanky, it's because she just shook it off.
The same thing happened with Michael Jordan when he was on top of the world, and he was in like every single commercial and everything. And
it's because Michael Jordan's a straight up psychopath.
Well, that's also true, but he's a very laser focused on winning mindset
and gambling.
Getting into politics has nothing to do with that, and he did not want to support the first black.
Doesn't he own like the Hornets or something?
Yeah, Charlotte Hornets. Yeah, I mean he's from South Carolina, or is Charlotte, North Carolina?
Well, I read a thing that was like he was someone who was like the go-between between the NBA and the players regarding the players' strike, and I feel like his
Charlotte's in North Carolina. Sorry,
and I feel like his like him not being vocal about the stuff makes it seem like he was just like the owner who, it has a lot of good PR from his player days.
Yeah, and players all love him because they.
But like but the thing is like we don't know anything. We don't really know because he hasn't really said one way or the other. It just that's the optics he's given off.
Well, he's always and I feel bad for him because he got famously quoted saying Republicans buy sneakers too, which
Michael Jordan used to have a Hitler mustache.
It's all adding up. No, to him, to his credit though, he talks about that in the Last Dance documentary, which is on Netflix now about the.
That is on Netflix now. I gotta watch that.
It's really good. It's actually a really soothing watch because it reminds you of like the 90s.
Yeah,
when the worst thing that's happening was a fight in a war over in Bosnia that we didn't ever see, even though we were bombing the shit.
And
the
90s were the last time I literally knew anything about basketball. So.
Yeah. And so it's actually a really cool documentary. They got like that inside access. But like the comment when he said Republicans buy sneakers is like he was, I guess, on a fucking tour bus and he was making a joke. And they're like, oh, that's what he meant. And he's like, well, I mean, like he was joking why he doesn't talk, politics and stuff. But I mean, it's the same thing OJ did, where he just wanted to be.
So you're saying Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan and OJ Simpson are the same person?
No, but I'm saying that they treated their stardom the same way. They didn't speak about their race or anything in any significant way.
So speaking of O.J.
which I think a lot of people really disliked in that community.
Speaking of, I think a lot of people in OJ's community didn't like that he was a murderer.
Well, there's a lot of like you should use your station to like be a spokesperson, but like I don't know, if it was me, if in those shoes, I'd be like, I just want to fucking play basketball.
I 100% agree. I think that's like the defending a little bit of Taylor Swift and that. I mean, she did eventually come out and support the Democratic candidate in her state and whatnot, but it was just kind of a point where she even talks about that her whole like image and all of her like the people surrounding her were like, you need to be this person, be apolitical, be like this influencer and all this stuff. And she eventually was like, I can't do that anymore, and made the choice.
One thing with Taylor Swift that I will say is that like she started off Nashville and was kind of a country star. Like her first 2 or 3 albums were on CMT. They were, a country station. They were country albums. And when she switched to pop, I think she didn't want to lose, like rebuild her entire base. She wanted to like, keep the country fans who are interested in pop music as well as part of her base. And country music fans, I can tell you, are not the most progressive people. So she probably had a lot of like libertarian capitalist people at her company or whatever who were just like, just fucking don't say anything. You won't lose that money. That's all that matters.
Yeah, but things I think have changed at least a little bit when it comes to like African American athletes and their ability to be outspoken. Because you look at someone, the most famous basketball player with the most endorsements and brand deals, LeBron James, tweeting, "Fuck this ban, we demand change. I'm sick of it." 1.3 million likes on Twitter. I mean, like, he is so outspoken.
Yeah,
and it doesn't stop him, and it doesn't stop his popularity, because I think the people that watch the NBA now are on the same page. And the people, so people that tell you that they only watch college basketball, watch out for those people. I'm serious.
That is
college sports are fucked up too. It's like, hey, let's exploit these kids.
Well, college basketball is literally, let's let these players play, and none of them get to have any outspoken things, because, I mean, it's literally like, you talk to people and they're like,
we'll make a ton of money off of
gangster ball. Like, that's what people used to say.
Wait, what?
And they used to say it was like, all these players wearing their like gangsta clothes and everything. That's literally what people used to say about the NBA.
About NBA.
Yeah,
weird.
Like maybe 10 years ago, especially in the Allen Iverson era.
Is it? Did they want like the super short shorts of the 70s to come back?
No, but I mean that was the thing when they switched over to the baggy shorts.
Really?
TJ,
at the end of the day, and I've kind of mentioned this on tweets before. When it comes to professional sports or televised sports of any sort, there are just so many outspoken people who are like, these are my toys, and if they're too loud, I hate them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they're not people to their fans.
Just dance for me. Don't have thoughts or feelings.
I do want to give credit to the NBA players, especially the Bucks, for being the first ones to set out of the playoffs and just say, we need to do something. And, we'll see what happens and what changes. But one big thing they got out of that was in all of the cities where an NBA arena is sitting empty, they said for the presidential election, they're going to have them turned into polling places with proper, spacing, because they're so large for people. So that's really great. A lot of those are in really, inner city areas which with a lot of the governors in some states and the state government reducing polling places in urban areas for some reason. I don't know
weird.
why.
I don't know why they target specific.
These areas that have the most people that don't vote for me, we should get rid of the polling places. So, so they're volunteering. At least the places where they're allowed, where the private businesses are allowed to volunteer polling places, are doing that. So. Just credit to, it's a different landscape is what you see right now.
Wouldn't it be cool if we could just vote by mail? That seems like really like a good
I feel like I'm going to do that. Like, cause I have my ballot already.
Yeah.
So
I still have to order mine, but I've got the,
I haven't got mine for the general yet.
Oh wait, but aren't they getting rid of like mail now? So that people that are mailing in their ballots won't be able to vote?
No, here's what you do. You drop it off at the library.
I know, exactly. That's I was going to suggest that.
And here's the thing. My library, right next to a chocolate shop, ice cream shop. So there's my incentive.
I will also do the same thing, except for instead of chocolate shop, it's the KFC. So Famous Bowl and vote.
Is Michael's Frozen Custard still a thing up there?
Oh, yeah.
Actually, now that you've said that, that's actually right next to my polling place as well.
Also, there's a...
I had Michael's this week.
There's a lot of political drama around Michael's Frozen Custard too, because just
LGBT business.
Yeah, the spark notes is that it was a gay couple that owned it. One of them is not a U.S. citizen and got like
even though they've been married.
Yeah, they've been here for like decades, and they're business owners and like
big parts of the community.
Yeah. So it's like, so I think they
didn't come
wasn't
in the right
allowed
way,
to stay.
So we got to kill all of these jobs associated with their business.
It's just super fucked up. But they're back open now, and I think the dude's back here.
Correct. Yeah. So what happened was the partner of the co-owner and partner of the franchise was deported. And And for what reason, I don't know. Somebody who's been paying taxes for decades and owns a business that's popular, but whatever. It doesn't matter. That was reversed, and he's now back in the country, and they were able to open their location this summer. Not a great summer, but actually ice cream shops have been doing pretty well.
Yeah, well, and especially their locations are mostly
really
like walk-up windows, so you're outside anyway.
Exactly. They're built to like old school, like outdoor diners.
I used to live across the street from Michael's Custard, and whoever was working the late night shift, like, just blasted techno all night. It was fucking wild. It was like a rave.
We have a thing in Springfield called Andy's Frozen Custard, which is probably just like the same thing because there's no seating. Like, there's a couple outside tables, but like, there's no, like, you don't go in at all. You walk up to the building's window and you get your ice cream and you walk away. So
the one on the
they've been doing good,
which is the best.
Yeah, like a couple. I think all the Andes here have either a drive-through or like a drive-up window, and they've been doing good as far as I can tell because, like you said, like, you don't have to worry about social distancing or being indoors when you walk up, get your custard, and you fuck off back to your car.
Yeah.
So that's what we've been doing. I got a chocolate peanut butter banana milkshake there the other day. Oh, so good.
You know what I do like? You know what I do like? Even though it's a chain, Culver's has a really good malt. Like,
Culver's is great.
Culver's
malts are amazing.
I like to go to Michael's more for ice cream because it's local. But if there's no Michael's is not open.
Culver's started out local. It's a Sauk City business.
It's true. It's true. I mean, and they're owned by franchise owners that are local. You know what I mean? Like, it's mostly
literally the niece of the dude that owns Culver's went to Edgewood when I was still there.
Yeah, that's pretty local. I mean, like as local as you can get, I guess, with a fast food franchise.
So
Butter
like,
burger.
Oh yeah.
Butter makes
but we have 2 Culvers in Springfield now, and I just decided on a whim, even though I usually go to the Andy's place that's local, I decided to go to Culver's, and I was like, I want a malt. I want something that tastes like Whoppers. So I got their chocolate malt, and that thing is like so thick. Like, it is the thickest thing I've ever had. You just, oh man, like every like tiny droplet of malt is so full of like delicious sugary flavor. It's amazing. I might have to go get one tomorrow. I fucking loved that thing. So then like the next like weekend, one of my coworkers was helping me move a fridge. It was the weekend after I moved into my house, and he was helping me move a fridge. And I was like, oh man, you want anything? You want me to go buy you some beer or whatever? And he's like, no, don't worry about it. And I was like, do you like malts? And what I did was I was like, I'll buy you a malt.
Gladiator movies.
But what he didn't know is that I was gonna get a malt for myself anyway. Like, the fact that he also likes malts just means I got to feel good about giving him something, and he drove to the Culver's for me to get the malt. So it was great.
So school's starting back up.
I don't want to talk about it.
Coronavirus. So
yeah,
I want to get a thought or just a little check in here. TJ, what is your kid's situation?
It is currently all remote learning for all 3 of them.
Wow.
It is rough.
It is rough,
really rough. But we're doing. The 3rd grader is kind of struggling. The 6th grader is appearing to do okay. But apparently, one of her classes she's currently got a D in. One she's got an F in after 2 weeks. But maybe it's just might be a missing assignment. I don't know.
Let's say like one paper is a D in 2 weeks.
And then old one just started high school, so that's fun.
The Madison area is doing pretty similar. They're doing like half remote, half not remote.
Yeah, we wanted to get to
a week.
We wanted to get to a hybrid, especially because. I'm sure the kids do better when they have, having the in school just the routine.
Yeah, how crazy you got in the summer, as a kid, and then it doesn't really change when the school year starts.
So I can't give out like specific information because of HIPAA stuff, and I'm an employee of Missouri State University. But on camp, so we have opened up
HIPAA or FERPA.
HIPAA because it's health information. Well,
Okay,
I mean,
fair
FERPA. I also have signed FERPA, but HIPAA because it's health information. I had to do that too. But what I can tell you is about the stuff that's already been made public on our press page. And this is currently how this is going. It's a MissouriState.edu/coronavirus/confirmed-cases.htm is the direct link. And we have had, in the last 7 days, 267 self-reported and cases of coronavirus.
Jeez, that's like a Smash Mouth concert.
696 tests administered on campus, and this is all just like last 7 days data, and it was not updated on the weekend. So in the week of basically we have weekly counts. So the first week back we had 38 cases, not too bad. The second week back 141 cases, and this is the second week. So we have.
So are these cases now? Just a question: is the student on-site housing full? Like, are you doing that?
Yeah, students are living on campus. Yes.
Yeah, the dorms are open.
Yes.
The place where lots of kids are smashed together.
Yes, that's correct.
Right. That's good.
And so you can see there's confirmed cases reported down as of update, and it has the updated. So updated 4 p.m. yesterday. On the 27th alone, there was 87 students who tested positive, and I cannot fathom this slowing down at any rate at all.
Now, Spanky, I know you wouldn't get this, but I know everyone else here would, including Matt, who's not even by his computer. But you put a bunch of college kids on a campus, and they do nothing but fucking. That's just what they do. It's what happens. Everything's going to spread.
Kids, I'm aware of this.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that's
I
what
just
they
feel
do.
terrible. I mean, I couldn't imagine being a college student right now.
On the one hand, I do feel bad for all the students of every grade and in college who are this is a formative moment in life that everyone relates to.
Yeah.
That everyone relates to, and I'm not experiencing it. And you know what? I do feel. And no, John, you can do a lot more than 4 years if you drop out a few times.
I got 4 years. Ask Matt how many years he was in college.
I am technically still in college, I guess, considering I work there. I do feel bad for them. And on the other hand, the university, I don't know. I don't think I'm allowed to say anything that would be that they. I don't remember what they've said publicly is the only thing. But basically, they have decided to open up, and before that decision was made, it seemed like we were going to financially be fine. But we decided to make it anyway in order to extra be. And I understand that from a hierarchical perspective. I also understand that most of the board of governors who makes all these decisions are fucking Republican donors and shit, so they can eat my ass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's good. I don't have any kids, and I'm not in school anymore, so I work from home.
Luckily, I work from home too. I'm not in any danger of getting coronavirus from the amount of people who are testing positive on campus, except for the fact that testing positive on campus means that they're probably infecting people who go to fucking Menards or something as well.
Yeah. So it's just making a mass of infection in your city. So
and this is just Missouri State. There's also Ozarks Technical Community College, Evangel University, which is one of Ted Cruz's favorite places to speak whenever he runs for president.
Oh yeah.
Then there's I think there's one other school, but I don't remember what it is. James River something. There's a bunch of Christian schools and shit. We're very close to Branson, which has I forget what is it. It's C of O, College of the Ozarks, which you may read about in religious articles this place is the last good place that you can go and send your kids, because if they drink, they get fucking expelled. If they fuck, they get expelled.
You say that, and there's more fucking happening at those places than at regular public colleges.
You do chastity checks.
Yeah. Well, it's the Catholic loophole.
Look,
it's not fucking
my job at the university. My job at the university is to inspect every woman to ensure that their hymen is still intact.
Jesus Christ!
So that we know that shit probably exists somewhere.
So one of my friends went there, and she's told me a lot of stories about it. And it's basically like students are so up their own ass about like not getting fucked that they report people who they know who did get fucked, and like just getting reported is all it takes.
They're like, hey, have you read Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter? Let's make that our university.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
literally.
And then like if you're 21 years old and like over the summer when classes aren't happening, you get a picture taken of you where like beer
with another
is
dude.
in frame. Beer is in the frame of the photo, and you're not like insinuated to be drinking it. You get fucking expelled if you get reported for that. Like, it's a nightmare. But as you can imagine, they're extremely right wing, and I'm certain that they are not enforcing masks. They're not enforcing anything like that. So. Hopefully, with any luck, Branson, Missouri, everyone in that town will just fucking die. Like, they'll all die.
That's the
There's
weird
probably
thing.
a couple people there who don't suck, but they're worth sacrificing, trust me. That place is a hellhole.
That's the crazy thing about when you politicize a pandemic. You're just killing off your supporters like to a disproportionate amount. And if like, oh man, it's really fucking morbid, but it'll be weird to see like if there's a difference in death toll that breaks down on political ideology. That's just so fucking like crazy to try and comprehend.
I think one thing that like people who are like, I'm apolitical, I don't want to vote, they're going to be dying for certain, because they're also like that. Nah, I don't think this thing's real. I don't really like, so like those people will be dying, but they don't vote anyway. So you can't really measure their, like those people dying on the effect of the vote. Mm-hmm. So, and then of course there will be people on the left who die just because they've been infected, and then there'll be people on the right who die because they go to COVID parties where they cough in each other's face to own the libs.
They go to karaoke
or Smash Mouth concerts.
Yeah. Oh man,
I still support Thanos saving this country. You know, it just
everyone's do it.
Yep.
What's it called?
Let's do it again. Yeah, I forgot what it was.
I think it's just called Did Thanos Kill.me.
The problem is when you start talking about Thanos, then you it's a very short leap to get to eugenics. And that's
I was
Thanos Kill.me.
Yeah, I was slain by Thanos for the good of the universe.
I was spared by Thanos.
I was slain this time. I'm dead.
I was spared.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
all right,
I
look forward to the new podcast with just Matt and Spanky.
Yeah. That's great. It's 50% of the podcast.
Yeah, and it's also going to be like the more positive half of the podcast, and we won't ruin your favorite celebrities that you don't know anything about for you.
Yeah, I will be protected by a cloud of ignorance by not knowing by not going on Twitter and not knowing what any celebrity opinions are.
Can you imagine a podcast, the two white guys who don't have a Twitter account? Has that been done yet?
I don't think so. Are white guys in like their 20s and 30s? I don't really know how old you are. Allowed to do podcasts?
Well, you know how like crows, when they gather together, they're called murders. I think it's like if 2 to 6 white guys are in a room, it's a podcast. Yeah. Any more than that, you have to call it a writer's room.
Oh, jeez.
And if you get too many, it becomes a political movement.
And if you get any more than that, it just becomes a subsidiary of the Republican Party.
Yeah, a republic of white dudes.
Or it's a political action committee.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I've been listening to a lot of the dollop.
Basically, like the name of it has to be randomized. It just gets put through like a patriotic words generator, and it gets pack at the end of it. So you could be like United Pack or Eagle Pack or some shit like that.
This has to be a thing. Yes. Okay. Super PAC name generator.
There we go.
It exists.
Realize the Amber Waves is my super PAC.
There you go.
Sublime doing what you want collective. I actually like that one. That's a pretty good one. Oh no, bring back the drug war. This is perfect. Raise our future.
This one's, I got one here. Slam Dunk the Eagle Fund.
Yes.
Perfect.
Hold on.
Eagle.
Let me get some patriotic music going for this, because I gotta do a...
Wait. Synthwave. Get a synthwave, like, some shit like that. Do they have that?
Oh, jeez.
I played our national anthem.
Boost the internet. I've got that one.
Now, does that mean amplify or steal the internet? Because I would be down for stealing the internet.
Here's one that's called Enrich Cowboys Pack. Construct whatever.
Fashion self-determination super pack.
Oh,
here we go. We can all get behind this. The Start Chill Time super pack.
This one's just called Escalate Capitalism.
Nope. Fuck that.
Here we go. Erect Recess. I had a couple of those in middle school, and they were not good.
I don't want to know where you went to school.
Enrich Free Pizza Squad.
Here we go. Sublime Not Being Tread On Collective.
I don't know what this first word means, but the ebullient free speech herd, like a herd of cows. Show us apple pie super pack. I like the ones that are super vague, like Renew the Union.
Yeah.
I'm sure that exists.
We found a super pack generator. Fashion free speech super pack. Go ham on endless summer super pack.
Raise the birth certificate.
What?
Recover personal responsibility. Aggrandize free market super pack.
Cure free pizza. Improve astronauts. Help apple pie mob.
I like rock our future. I've seen that one twice now, and I feel like that's my super pack. Hey, do you guys have you guys ever heard of the show Avatar?
No. One thing, guys, before we get to that, I've got a Reddit ship.
Yeah.
Ding ding.
Keep the music going though, Matt.
Oh, okay.
I thought this guy was asking me out on a date. Instead, he was trying to induct me into the Communist Party. It was too perfect not to go.
Joe Biden's Communist Party.
This actually happened. That happened.
Oh, that's another thing.
Hold on.
That's another thing that I saw on the one night of the RMC that I watched. They think that Joe Biden is a Manchurian candidate to enact extreme left progressive policies. They're like, he seems moderate now, but once he gets in, he's gonna anamorph into Bernie Sanders and take all your jobs or whatever.
Anamorph.
I wish I could anamorph into Bernie. I was Bernie morph.
What?
What about it?
I sent a better soundtrack to you, Matt.
What about Bernie morphing?
Oh. Did you do it on the Discord?
It's in your Discord.
Okay.
Yeah.
We gotta get the new soundtrack before I continue this one.
Okay. Stall. Everybody
I'm just writing
stall.
notes for this episode. What's the episode title?
Stall in.
Like Sheryl Sandberg.
Stalin.
Stall in.
Oh no. I just saw John's article and it made me sad.
Yeah.
Can't have your head in the sand. You gotta know.
Okay, you guys won't be able to hear this, but I think the stream will be able to hear it.
Okay.
All right, and it's going now.
Oh man, that's amazing.
I know what it is, so it is amazing.
Yeah.
This fucking slaps.
I can hear it actually.
Yeah,
because I'm listening to the audio. Oh, and it's mixed really well too. It's good volume. Can we just keep this for the rest of the show? No. So this was I thought this guy was asking me on a date and said he was trying to induct me into the Communist Party. This actually happened. I'm shook. He even gave me a communist propaganda from the 1930s to read as well as many other pamphlets. I dressed up super cute. Actually put on makeup. And was excited to go on a date. Then that happened. I did not know how to respond. I'm still having trouble processing what happened. Just another failed date to put on my list of horrible dates. Could you imagine if it was an Ayn Rand guy? Because that would be like way worse.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So the thing is about
Well, okay, what's
how
worse
far
though?
do you think they went with this? Like, were they just like, "Hey, nice of you to meet me here. Want to hear about the Communist Party?" Or were they like, "What's up, hot stuff? How about I start calling you comrade?"
No, we got some more.
I think I know what you're gonna answer to this, but what's worse? You show up to a first date, and they're like, "Hey, I want to indoctrinate you to the Communist Party," or you show up and they're like, "Hey, let me tell you about how great the Fountainhead is."
Oh. Okay, so we got some responses in the comments from the main person. How did you meet? I can't believe that he hid his motives until the real world meetup. What could he expect with a bait and switch like that? She said, I met him around town from time to time, so it's someone she knew. And then we met at the BLM protests. He said he wanted to meet up with me and get coffee. Okay, this is great. Person responds, I hope you read all the pamphlets. And she writes, I was intrigued, so I read them all. It was ... interesting.
You know, this is also the plot of Escape from LA.
So she has now been indoctrinated into the Communist Party, which is great. So I thought that was a fun one. We had to go over that.
And
anyway.
The music's ending right now. All right. That was a perfect timing.
I think it would be pretty cool if someone watched our fucking podcast and actually texted Joe to 30330.
Hey, come on, man. Text Born in the 80s to Joe 3030.
Okay, I've got another really good one here. When my wife installs a new app, she just leaves the app icon on the home screen wherever it lands. No organizations. I don't feel like this is normal behavior. What should I do?
Divorce Facebook. Hit the gym.
Yeah.
And I forgot what the other one is.
This is a really good one because it has a great two comment thread or one thread comment response with the highest upvoted thing being find a new wife. And the second and the original poster replying, she says I'm not allowed to find a new wife. I totally agree. I like I have my entire all of my screens super organized, and it bothers me when they're not.
I don't have enough apps.
Because that's because you refuse to download any apps that aren't fucking free to free of all anything, and I just
it's hard to find apps for your Linux phone or whatever.
Yeah, your Linux phone.
It's called a Pine phone, and you can actually get one of those.
Yeah, your open source software.
Well, that's Android.
No, it's not Android. Android doesn't work without. Yeah, barely. It doesn't work.
It is.
Fight.
I'm not saying it's not as open as it maybe could be, but it's definitely available for anyone to use on their device.
Get those nerds!
Android does not work on any devices without Google's proprietary services. So, it may as well not even be open source.
I can't use my Apple service on the other thing. Pine phone.
Junior Gamer in the chat says my desktop looks like my room, and that could really go either way. I don't know.
If you want to, If you want a pretty phone, you should look up the Librem 5, I think.
I am the opposite. Like,
Okay, but what if I want a phone that works?
My desktop is clean. My room is a mess. I can control one.
My phone desktop is pretty good. My computer desktop is a fucking mess.
Mine's actually not too bad. I actually go through and clean it up. There's
my actual physical desktops are also terrible.
Oh shit, dude! I just saw on my desktop I have a Frog Fractions Game of the Decade edition link. I got to play that. I remember I got to play that. I talked about that last week. Go to pine64.org and look at the Pine phone. It is the most Linux-ass fucking website ever made.
Would you guys... hold on. Sorry.
How much is a Pine phone? I want a Pine phone.
So this is my...
Go home.
This is my Pinebook Pro.
Boo! Nerd!
Nerd!
Get those nerds!
Oh, dude, the Pine phone...
Get those nerds! Get those nerds!
The Pine phone is $200.
Is it made out of actual pine?
No, but I'm sure it's
$200.
Oh, that's a pretty good deal. Wait, Pinebook Pro?
Yeah.
I kind of want to get a Linux laptop if they're only $200.
You know, with how like obsessed you are with open source software,
laptop, but it is $200. So I mean,
well, I mean that. Okay, so here's my thought on that. Right? Can I watch like go on the internet and watch like YouTube and stuff on it?
No.
Can you watch inspirational Terry Crews?
Sorry, can I do the most basic thing? No.
You can probably edit a text file.
No,
Spanky, I'm surprised that your like a journey into open source software hasn't like slowly converted you into libertarianism. Like,
well,
no, we need
that is probably the worst thing about Tech Bros, honestly. Is how much they fucking love libertarianism.
So no, I got a question. So you literally can't go on the internet on the thing? I thought you could go on browsers in Linux. I've used Linux OSs before.
The thing is specifically the Pinebook Pro doesn't have a graphics accelerator in it. Like, it just doesn't. So YouTube.
Wait, no, but whoa. It has a fucking webcam on it?
Yeah.
How could it not have any sort of graphics?
Acceleration. Graphics acceleration. Basically, like an integrated graphics card.
All the graphics just go at exactly the same speed.
Do you remember like cheaper laptops in like the late 2000s?
Yeah,
that had like the Intel GMA graphics.
Yeah.
Like that.
They still make those.
Well, they're a lot better now. But back then, they did all the graphics without any like integrated circuitry, just through the processor, the CPU. That is how the Pinebook's processor works with its graphics. So it works great until you try to play like a 60 frames per second video at 1080p, which is just too much bandwidth for the processor to handle. But you do get like 10 hours of battery life.
The weird thing about this is I'm just saying this is that the USB-C port on the Pinebook Pro, apart from being able to transmit data and charge, which is awesome, USB-C for life, is also capable of digital video output up to 4K at 60 hertz. How can it do that?
Okay, are you looking at the Pinebook Pro?
Yeah.
All right, so
maybe it's a newer one.
No. It's the one I've got. So you need one of these, which is an adapter. So I have like a little adapter. But so that is the communication between the motherboard and the monitor. That is hardware level. The when you go to YouTube and watch a video,
so what video are you outputting if it can't play video?
Okay, so it can play video. Like it has a desktop. It's got a 10.
But I can't go on a website and watch a video.
No, because what that is software decoding. It's decoding video.
Decoding fanning.
So I can't stream video to this laptop.
You can.
Will it turn me into Ninja?
Low frame rate.
Can I be Ninja with this laptop?
Yeah, you can.
You guys, I started playing Cookie Clicker again.
So I got a question.
I was so bored with this Pinebook stuff. I started playing Cookie Clicker.
Spanky, should I get the ISO keyboard or the ANSI keyboard variant? I don't know what that means.
The ANSI keyboard variant.
Okay. $200.
So I have a couple
all
of
I
Am I
want to
the
do on
Asshole?
it is watch videos on YouTube, and I can't do that.
It probably will not do that very well. No, I use this for like work stuff.
Yeah, let me do this. So
What the fuck are you assholes doing?
Thank you.
I already have a laptop, but my point is that basically I like.
you're
to use
just
a
gonna have
tablet.
to talk over John. He's gonna keep
No.
going.
I just want to end this. The whole reason I brought up the YouTube thing is that I like to watch YouTube on like a screen that's not my phone while I lay in bed sometimes, or like any like streaming service. But a tablet is like $500.
When John says YouTube,
this would be
he
cheaper,
really means
except for that it can't do
OnlyFans.
what a tablet can do. I'm sorry. That's all I have to say. It's not Linux's fault though. In this case, it's the fact that it's bare bones $200 worth of hardware. Okay, that's it. What's my asshole doing?
Okay.
DJ, talk to me about my asshole.
I will talk to you about your asshole.
There's a clip.
I'll eat your ass. I'll eat your ass.
I'll eat your ass.
Thank
All
you.
right. All right.
You think Alex Jones would be a generous lover?
No.
No.
Yes.
The asexual person there agrees.
I'm sure everyone he knows has a DAP. So we got this. All right.
DAP makes like
oh my
plumbers
God,
talk.
Am I the asshole for asking my husband to turn down his dream job for my career?
Yeah.
Definitely.
No.
All right. Let's get into this.
Yeah, let's get into this.
I'm going to be vague for privacy.
I'll
reasons.
eat your ass.
Sorry.
I gotta put my. I'm Alex Jones with glasses.
I was trying to kill a fucking fly. It's been bugging me. All right. So I, 33 female, am the breadwinner of the household. I have multiple highly specialized degrees for a niche industry. I make 200,000 plus with the potential to get in the 600,000 to millions range. My company has not been hit that badly by COVID, so most of us have kept our jobs, but we're held to strict standards. My husband, 36M, has a broad degree / work experience. He quit his job right before COVID hit, hoping for a better job in the meantime, and I was supportive. He spent a ton of time applying to various jobs and finally landed an interview at Organization X.
Wait, can you say what's her job again? Is this her dream job or was his dream job?
His dream job.
Okay.
But she's also the breadwinner.
And
She's
she
the
makes how
breadwinner.
much?
Currently 200,000 a year.
And what was her job? Sorry.
Well, she's vague for privacy reasons.
Multiple
just
degrees.
that she has multiple highly specialized degrees for a niche industry. So this Organization X, that is his dream job in almost every imaginable way, but I can't be detailed. However, it's paying about $65,000 a year, which would be fine, except this job directly puts my job stability at risk. My company and this organization are adversarial at best. My field is extremely secretive, and if clients discovered my spouse was working for a competitor, I would be permanently tainted. Funny, because we're talking about assholes.
Ew.
Oh,
I wouldn't be able to get in.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to get a job in the industry forever. I know this sounds like an exaggeration, but I promise you, it absolutely is not. It would be like if I worked in protecting the privacy of celebrities and he worked for TMZ.
Okay.
If he tapped my car, got into my work devices, he could use that to advance his career, and any trust I have in this field will be gone.
okay.
Even if I trusted my husband not to do that, my clients and company won't. Worse, because my background is so specialized, this is the only field I can work in. I asked him to drop from consideration for this job, since if he got it, we'd lose my income.
This is so insane that she's not giving any details about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It
feel like
makes it really difficult.
$65,000 a year cannot support us in this city. Plus, he does not have to work for this organization. Even if the job market is awful right now, his background gives him access to a wide range of jobs.
So
But
she works for the NRA as like a lawyer, and he wants to get a job for the ACLU or something.
Probably.
No, this is Kellyanne Conway and her husband. Whose name I don't know.
George Conway.
George Conway.
Conway Twitty.
Conway Twitty.
Yep.
You know, Joe Rogan with a mohawk's pretty cool. I gotta give it.
Yeah, if only the bastard could grow hair.
All right, so he was extremely
I love
angry.
how these all just freak out when you try to drink anything.
Yep. Oh. He was extremely angry and said... Oh. Oh, that is great, John.
Anyway, go ahead.
He was extremely angry and said I was, quote, selfish and only cared about money. I told him that if he wanted to go back to school for an advanced degree or just be unemployed for a while, I would support him. But taking this job isn't possible. Okay. He continued the process behind my back and got the offer. He wants to accept it because he says his career needs to take priority and that I wasn't being a supportive wife. I feel so betrayed, and I've contacted all relevant higher-ups in my company to inform them. I notified them as soon as he got the interview because it's better coming from my email than from a background check. Mm-hmm. I told him he could decline the offer with me watching him physically decline it, or he could accept the offer and move out immediately. I would pay for him to stay 2 weeks at a hotel, and we would begin divorce proceedings. My company is willing to take care of all of my legal fees. I feel fucking awful. I still love him. I moved decisively because this was the best way to cut my losses, but it still hurts. He called me heartless and cold. It's true that I was prioritizing my career over his, but it felt like the only option at the time. So there we go.
So is she the asshole? I don't think so. Is she an asshole? Yeah.
I mean, it's without knowing what line of work they're in, it's impossible to tell which one's
That's
terrible.
true. But, like, so she says, hey, just don't, we can talk about that. But he goes behind her back and fucking, makes... So, yes, he's the asshole in this situation. But she is an asshole for, like, well, if you're going to get that job, I guess we got to get divorced. Like, fuck you, lady.
Yeah, I don't really understand it's because she doesn't give... Are there any comments that maybe give some light into what the industry is that she's talking about is? Because I think that's more interesting to me than the actual, like, betrayal of going behind, because I feel like she thinks of it as a more of the inability to get along than it probably is, if that makes sense.
Well, she's saying very secretly, very secret... She's still very secretive in the comments. Because she can't, I'm guessing there's some level of NDA or whatnot, or she's in a very, very, secretive field. But, all we got is, if we do take her word at face value, is just, not only is she in a very niche industry, but it's super, super, super secret, where I'm guessing her husband is trying to get into a company that would benefit from the secrets that she has. But
look, all I'm saying is if Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie can make it work in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, they can make it work too.
Oh, John, that is horrid. That is absolutely horrid.
I think somebody forgot to carry a 1. Somebody forgot to carry a 1 on your filter.
Oh my god. Well, it's because a lot of these filters are built for vertical only. So when you do it not vertical, it ruins the. So I think that's why some of these are. Oh, Spanky, I love the Windows background.
Yeah, I've got to find those too. I love those.
This Mona Lisa one's okay. Anyway, I honestly, it's just like one of those things that is like you ask people online for help and you give not enough information, and then like a lot of the "Am I the assholes?" is that they write it in a way that they seem like they are not the asshole. In this one, it's written like that kind of, but I mean, like, I got to imagine this guy probably talked to her about like, I want to get this job because it's like, I just don't have the life that I want to have. So, I want to do this and I need to. And she just didn't really listen to him, basically. I feel like she probably blew him off. Didn't actually discuss.
The only thing I would worry about is the fact that you're talking about a permanent change in lifestyle. If they're going to lose her 200K a year, if they're going to drop her at this,
I'm just
at
imagining that she must work for like fucking Exxon Mobil or something. You know what I mean? Like some terrible company.
I feel like to have any job in a specialized field at Exxon Mobil, you will make more than $200,000.
I mean, she might work, weapons manufacturing or something like that.
Yeah, like Northrop Grumman or something.
Yeah. And he works for the Communist Party.
Drinking with this one's real good.
But yeah, if she had a very specialized degree in advanced ballistics or whatnot, if she gets blacklisted from the industry, she'll never get back in. So I get it. I've got a shorter one that's nice because it didn't have like a blanket, not the asshole from the comments here.
All right. So it's up for thought.
Yes. Am I the asshole for walking out of a job interview?
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought when I first got this. But let's move on.
The fuck? Okay.
I 26 male, got offered an interview for a job. I had my
Joe
eye on
Rogan's podcast because that's every 26-year-old male.
That I've had my eye on for quite some time.
Thank God I'm 27.
I was scheduled to meet with 3 people within the actual office itself. And considering this was a job that could be done remotely, that raised my suspicion, but I still decided to learn more about the position. When I got there, the first interviewer, who was with HR, took almost 20 minutes to call me in. The receptionist was nice and all, and kept trying to reach out to them to see what was taking so long, but nonetheless, that irked me the wrong way.
Yeah.
My interviewer eventually walked into the lobby and told me to follow him. No apology for the long wait. To describe him, he was a tiny guy, about 5'6", and spoke in
I don't work for tiny men.
And spoke in that weird Valley Girl accent.
Wait, what?
Important later.
This person's the asshole.
So he did
right
like
now. They're already like judging people by their height and the way that they talk.
And the fact that 5'6" is like tiny is very very
tiny.
tender of you.
Exactly.
That's all, I don't date any guys that are under 6 foot.
The actual interview went off the rails pretty quick.
Okay.
My interviewer was rude to me and cut me off a lot. For background, I live with my parents because they have health issues and I help take care of them. So moving out isn't an easy option for me or them. When the interviewer asked where I live, I told him I lived with my parents in X town. He laughed and asked if I was too scared to move out. I was still trying to be professional.
Was that like a joke? Is this like a person who doesn't understand like humor? Because I also think like some people is like, oh, you're too scared to move out, huh? Like, haha, and they're like, no, my parents are dying. It's like, all right, like it was a joke, man. Like, anyway, continue.
Yep, I was still trying to be professional, but he kept making snide remarks about some of my experience.
This guy is a fucking like 26-year-old basement dweller, and he's like, this guy was an asshole because I showed up wearing my Big Johnson T-shirt.
He
and
did
like all this
my
shit.
Tasty Freeze experience.
Yeah, what kind of a fucking weirdo shows up in their Engine X T-shirt to this programmer interview?
So he kept making snide remarks about some of my experience, the state school I went to, etc. I eventually got fed up, and I felt like I wasn't going to get the job anyway, so I decided to tell him, you're being really unprofessional, so we're done here. He got mad and said, so you don't want to meet the team you're interviewing with? I told him, no, if the HR is this unprofessional, then I can't imagine what everyone else here is like.
Ouch.
I mean, fair enough at this point, but I don't know. Being a little snippy, you could have just been like, hey, I see where this is going. I don't think I'm going to be the right fit.
I think that's exact. I mean, he was being a little snippy. I would literally, if I was in that situation, I'd be like, you know what? I think this isn't going to be the right fit for me. And just leave. Like that's what you do.
I think this is an everybody's an asshole thing.
Oh,
anyway,
we're not done.
Okay,
we're not done. Yep. As I was leaving through the lobby, the HR guy followed me and tried to embarrass me by saying out loud to the receptionist, he is no longer welcomed here. If he tries to come back in, call the police.
Wait, what?
Yep.
Okay.
I told him to shove it and go make out with his boyfriend so that way no one has to hear his voice.
Okay, so
then
we got a little homophobic there.
He's the asshole.
I knew it.
Yep.
As soon as he was making fun of the guy's height and his fucking voice, he was like, so he's basically like, oh, he had that effeminate queer voice, but he didn't want to say that, so he said Val girl because he was thinking that.
And he tries to walk
out of here.
He tries to walk back from this by trying to take the high road here. I'd never walked out of an interview in my life, no matter how well or bad they went. Bless you. Gesundheit. I only know it in 3 languages, so
salud.
Yeah. I did kind of feel bad for skipping out on the other 2 interviews, which would have been with some of the managers on the team I would be working with. But I absolutely hate most HR departments as it is, since they produce some of the most toxic people. That's a fair statement, but from a horrible person. I get that.
Yeah.
And if this HR guy was really unprofessional, I question the company as a whole. So yeah, that's the end of there. And everyone in the comments is, you're the asshole or everybody's shitting here. But this guy is definitely the asshole.
This guy's definitely an asshole.
The other guy was being an asshole too.
Yeah,
it's like a job interview.
Yeah, this is the problem with "Am I the asshole?" It's like through the story, the other guy was an asshole too. But talk about unreliable narrators. Like who fucking knows?
Yeah, fair enough.
Paint me like your French girls.
Hey Spanky, what was that fucking epilepsy glitch filter? I need to find.
Yeah, I need to know what that is.
I wasn't watching.
Rainbow
what the
face.
fuck is that?
What is it?
I've ever seen.
Rainbow face. I got it by searching AT&T.
How about this one, boys?
My computer is dying from this.
Sorry, the Snapchat filters are going insane.
This is the whole podcast now. Get used to it, bitches. I think I got the wrong one.
Hey guys, I found a better one.
Yeah.
So I found it by doing AT&T is how I found it.
AT&T. I love how terrible the search is that you can't even fucking find things.
There it is.
Oh yes.
Oh yes. Oh sweet.
Fine.
Fine. I'm going to take a screenshot so that people listening can go on our Discord. What's the Discord?
It's born.80s.com/net.usegroup.
Okay, so you don't actually know what it is?
It's discord.bornintheeighties.net.
Thank you.
Yep, that's the one.
Picture.
AT&T. Oh, jeez.
You can see a picture of what is happening right now on the Discord.
Man.
Oh yeah,
I
gotta take another picture because
yes, you do.
All of us.
You have to keep taking screenshots until all of our background colors are synced up.
Oh, Spanky's face in this one is really good. Okay, so Snapchat filters continue to ruin the podcast.
Yes, I'm seeing you guys at 1 frame per second right now.
Oh, Matt got really close to the screen, and it's legitimately terrifying. All right, but we need to move on to the Byte Book Club, as Matt said.
Yes.
So get your Byte Book Club filters, and let's get started. Now, Matt can also get the...
Oh, it's true.
All right, I've got a thing. Edit all this out.
Ow.
Are we ready for the Avatar discussion?
Yeah, I gotta get my Zuko scar.
Yeah, I gotta get my aviator one too. Okay, here we go. John, you fucking stealing my
What?
bit.
I took it before you this time.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
Fine, I'll go back to the other one that was super funny.
What, this one?
No.
Wow.
It's aviator.
Wow. You went to aviator from Avatar.
Yep.
Good one.
It looks so fucked up because I have glasses on. All right.
Anyway,
I could
all right.
try and find Spanky's Joe Biden filter, and it would just be aviators.
So let's talk about Avatar. We watched the end of the show.
Can't wait to watch
yes, we
what we
did.
have this week.
I can't wait to never not be able to watch Korra with my wife because she just was not interested in Avatar.
My wife.
Anyway.
No, you have to force her to watch it, and that's one way to make sure somebody really likes the things you like. It's just force them to watch it, and they definitely don't develop any terrible feelings about it.
Yeah, it's just bad. She's not into it.
Oh, here we go. This is the one.
What? Oh, the filter you're looking for?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find the episode guide so I can go through the episodes. But
we watched
the Southern Raiders,
which I watched a week before because Matt forgot to watch an episode that we were supposed to watch.
Yep.
I didn't forget. I just ran out of time.
And then we watched
You can watch it during the podcast. Not like you're doing anything.
And then we watched Hamilton.
So Southern Raiders is the episode where basically Katara gets to have her special journey with Zuko.
Yes.
Field trip.
Special field trip. This reminds me of I think does this happen in what movie? Inglourious Bastards, where they find the Nazis afterwards. Is that what movie is that? Where
I think you're thinking of X-Men First Class.
That might be it. I think you're totally right. I am.
Where Magneto finds the Nazis in South America and murders them.
No, so what I'm thinking of actually is maybe Red Dead Redemption 1. I don't know if you've played that game, but the spoilers of that game is the ending.
Yes.
I don't.
You're given a choice to avenge the murderer of your parents, basically, or you find out who murdered your parents, and you're given the ability to off them, and you get to choose. And that's kind of the situation that we have here with Katara, because
I really think you aren't thinking of X-Men First Class.
Well, you know what? It's a great movie, X-Men First Class.
Because Magneto gets the chance to kill Kevin Bacon. And you know what? He does.
Oh, I'm not thinking of that. I'm thinking of literally going into a I'm trying to think
everyone died in Inglourious Bastards, I think.
I think you're right. No, they didn't kill Christoph Waltz, though. They just carved a swastika in his forehead.
Yeah, but all the people who would have been the people who would hunt down Nazis after the war definitely died at the end of Inglourious Bastards. So this episode
doesn't have a lot of detail to it in the synopsis because not I guess a ton happens. Oh no, this is okay, good. This is the actual Southern Raiders, not the episode. I want the episode, yes. I was like, why is there no detail on this? No, so Katara is we gotta go find out who killed my mom.
Well, what it's really just Zuko being like, why is Katara being such a bitch? And her mom's dead, and I need to figure out what's up with that, and then she'll forgive me for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Well, he's like, I can give her something. You know what I mean? I know who probably attacked that. It was the Southern Raiders, this firebending group that would attack the Southern Water Tribe, basically.
They talk about logo on the flag, and that's how that.
Yeah, the logo.
That's how you identify it. Yep.
So anyway, they go to find them. Basically, Katara and fucking Zuko get on Appa again. It's another magical journey on Appa away with Zuko. I think it's referenced in the final episode too, when Toph laments that she didn't get to have her mystical journey of learning with
well, it's in this too.
She's have a very short one.
She's like,
you're right.
It's your turn to go on your magical Zuko field trip, and Katara's just like, yes. and the tone is such that it's like, oh shit, this is serious.
Yeah. So anyway, they go to the Southern Raiders ship and they attack it, and then it's oh, he's not there. That's not him, because the guy they find out has retired. But and they know where he is.
She does blood bending on him.
Yes. She's so pissed she blood bends him to get the fucking.
And when she does it, Zuko's even like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, he's like, "I'm kind of into this."
I'm scared, and that turns me on.
Yeah, I mean, he's with May, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so yeah, they go to. Oh no, it's not. They actually go to Ember Island. Is where they stay. I think is at the start of this, right? Yeah. Because they're hiding out after the air temple was destroyed.
Well, they've been at Zuko's family's house there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where they've been doing the last of his training.
Yeah. So they go find him. His name is Yan Ra. And he's like, I was ordered to kill the last waterbender, and I did. And she said, well, she wasn't the last waterbender, I was. And then she like is gonna kill him, but then like stops basically. And she cannot bring herself to kill for revenge. Realizing that revenge isn't what's gonna get her what she wants. It's not gonna bring her mom back. And this guy's kind of pathetic and old and retired, and you're just like, it's not worth it. You know what I mean? Like, killing him does nothing. It'll make you feel better for 2 seconds, and then you'll feel terrible about what you've done, which I like. And then you get back to Ember Island, and Zuko and Katara have a hug because they've kind of both gone through similar things, losing family members, their mother specifically.
Yeah, well, like when Aang catches her when she's gonna leave, and he's like, revenge won't help you. You got to forgive him.
Yeah.
So when she comes back, Aang's like, you forgave him. That's great. And she's like, no, I didn't forgive him, but I can forgive Zuko.
Yeah, which is great. And so now her and Zuko are friends. Then we get the best episode of the entire series because of Toph's portrayal. Sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, like I get that it's Nickelodeon and everything, but I was like really thrown off by how much they dance around the mom got murdered thing.
Yeah.
Like, it was to the point where I was like, did they just take her? Like, did she get banished or did she get murdered? They would never say she was dead. It was just, oh, she was gone.
Yeah, that's true.
The next episode has a very like jab at the fucking writing loops they have to jump through with true. Jet.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that part is so good. And they're like,
did Jet just die? It was really unclear.
It was really unclear, which we talked about. Literally confused. So I think that's a little poke fun at themselves, which is nice. But I mean, it's a children's show. I think,
however, people do absolutely die on screen in Korra. Like, people get killed on screen in Korra.
Korra is definitely more.
It's not gory, but there are people who like are on screen alive and then are killed entirely on screen.
Well, yeah, like, so Avatar is like a TV PG, whereas Korra is like a TV 14. Like there's actual like adult situations in that, or like frightening. Whereas this is much more trying to be a kid show. So they're practicing their firebending. It's going well, and everyone's like, "We need to take a break," right, or something like that. I don't know why they stopped.
I think
because
Sokka finds
is
the
actually
poster.
not going to fight Sozin. Like, the plan is, we're not actually going to fight him on Sozin Comet's Day. We're going to wait until he's done and then fight him once Aang is better at firebending. And no one tells Zuko that, and Zuko's like, "You guys are fucking idiots," because his plan is to literally firebomb. That's the next
episode. This current episode, when I ended that. That doesn't.
Are we still on that current episode?
We're on Ember Island Players right now.
Players. Where Aang is played by a small woman.
We're on.
This is that same episode.
No. You just watched them all today, so it's blending together.
Yes. Then I watched Ember Island Players earlier in the week, and I watched all 3 of the finales today, and it's in the finale 3 or 4 episodes.
Okay.
It's in the first episode of it, but this episode is almost entirely them watching the play.
Yeah.
Because they're like training. Oh, it's just Sokka and Suki are like, "Hey, we got this poster about this play called The Boy in the Iceberg, and we got to see it because we got to see a play, basically based on ourselves." And Zuko's like, he remembered and saw The Love Amongst the Dragons, and they butchered that. So the play is like, they're terrible, is what he's saying. But anyway, go ahead.
The whole idea is that they wanted to see it because they wanted to see how
the people think of them.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, yeah, it's pretty funny. Katara's person is like extremely like over dramatic and always talking about hope.
Yeah.
And they're like, she's like, I'm not like that, am I? And it's like, and then Sokka's always cracking jokes, but they're really bad because it's just about how he's always trying to eat. Which is, somewhat true, I feel like, for Sokka, but
yeah,
that's true. Iroh's actor is short and fat. He's always talking about eating as well, which is funny. I like the depiction of Zuko. He has the scar on the wrong side of the face.
That's nice Zuko cosplay, but your scar's on the wrong side.
And he's like, it's not on the wrong side. Momo is portrayed by a sock puppet and says, "Hi, everybody, I love you," which is really good. But anyway, yeah, it just kind of goes through the whole series. But they kind of portray Aang.
You forgot to mention that Toph is played by John Cena.
We haven't gotten to the book 2 yet. But Sokka kisses the lady and she becomes a moon. And the Avatar saves the day, and then the curtain falls, and everyone's like, "Huh, that's weird." And Toph's like,
and she
this
says,
is great.
"I'm sorry, Sokka. I've got important moon business to take care of."
You didn't tell me you made out with the moon. Shh, I'm trying to watch.
She has important moon
That part
duties.
was so cute whenever Sokka was getting emotional over that.
I know, which is like, So Toph is just like, well, they're like, well, you don't think it's ridiculous because they haven't portrayed you yet, and she's like, oh, I suppose you're right, but then they portray Toph as this huge burly dude, and you're just like, what is she thinking? They cut over to her and she's just smiling ear to ear, and you're just like, that tracks.
I wouldn't have cast it any other way.
Yeah, this fucking giant dude playing Toph.
Meanwhile, Aang is upset that.
And instead of using his feet to see, he releases a sonic blast from his mouth.
Oh, yeah.
He just fucking screams.
Yeah, I could see via echolocation. It's like,
Meanwhile, Aang is upset that they cast like a Peter Pan lady for him.
Yeah. Well, didn't Toph kind of like be like, well, there's a kernel of truth in everything that's up there, and Aang is like taking it all personally, like it's absolutely true what's happening. What because as we get through book 2, it's like what Katara says on stage is like, that's how you think of me, right? Like, it must be true because it's up there.
Yeah.
Fucking kid.
I know. Well,
look, this is a guy who wrote a whole play and most of it centers on what are apparently the bad guys. So he's not a good playwright.
I was about to say, that's what my wife brought up too. And it was like, why is this play all about the bad guys the entire time? And then at the end, they lose and everyone's happy.
Yep.
And a weird thing.
On the other side of it, their sources were a little whatever, including a guy who knows a lot about cabbages.
Yeah. A surprisingly knowledgeable cabbage merchant.
Yes.
They have another intermission basically after like the events of the second season, and they have an intermission, and everyone's like, oh, I think there's a point where Zuko and Katara are in love there. Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah.
And then Aang's like, you only think of me as a friend, like the character on the thing does, and she's just like, and then he hoped that they would be together after the invasion. And then he kisses her.
Meanwhile, she's like, dude, we're like trying to save the world right now.
We're like literally about
I have more important shit to worry about.
Die.
So
she's like, I'm confused that I don't want to do relationship things before we might die. Okay, let me kiss you. No, god damn it.
And Suki and Sokka sneak into the back and give the guy who plays Sokka some lines, which he uses in the second half. And Sokka's a natural joke teller, so it works out well.
Suki and Sokka definitely fuck in like the last episode.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah. I mean, it's fine. Good for them. I mean, they're going to die possibly, and they almost die, but we'll get to that. I do like
that
the fact
the most
that,
racy scene, though.
Yeah. Well, it's completely safe because if Suki accidentally gets pregnant, then Katara can just waterbend the fetus out of her.
So everything happens, and then they're like, all right, well, we're up to the present, so it's over, right? And they're like, nope. And so then they basically play out the future in going the wrong way. Basically, Aang getting killed by the Fire Lord, Azula fighting Zuko, and killed by Zuka or by Azula, and that's the end. And everyone's like happy, and everyone's just like, huh. And then Sokka says the play was terrible, but the effects were pretty decent, which they were. I like the special effects in that.
Yeah.
All right, we got to move on because we got the
four-part finale. Yep.
The Phoenix King. I actually really like the way this is done because the Melon Lord exists as my favorite character. But they basically Aang and there are this is where what you were mentioning earlier happens basically.
Yeah,
they're like, why are you being so lazy? Like we gotta like fight, and then they're like, well, actually, we're not going to be fighting him now because we're going to wait until after the comet so we can beat him because he'll be unbeatable when the comet's up there. And then Zuko's like, and then he spills the beans. Well, this is the actual plan, that we saw him earlier, I think in this season when he goes in to the war meeting, and then you see him decide to leave basically because he learned their plot was, no, actually we're just going to burn the entire Earth Kingdom to the ground. Like we're going to do a genocide. is what the Fire Nation was
the
gang
do a genocide.
Yeah, so he was like, I couldn't be a part. That's when he was like, I'm out. He does the SpongeBob meme where he gets up from the chair. He's like, I'm out.
All right, I'm gonna head out.
All right, I'm gonna head out. Like that's what we're doing. All right, I'm gonna head out. So, Matt has to go to the bathroom again. What has he got in the background there?
Dude, it looks like he's got toilet bowl cleaner on his fucking
I know, I'm zooming in on his thing. All right, so Matt has left the podcast because he has to go like pee or something. I don't know. His looks more organized though in the back. He's got like a shelving unit there now.
Oh yeah.
He's got his keytar there. It does look like he's got a bitter apple. I can recognize one of those bottles. It's bitter apple. You're meant to put on stuff so pets don't chew on stuff. So you can put it on cables. That looks like honestly like a cleaner. Like a spot cleaner, I bet. For his kitty cats.
The squeeze bottle thing looks like toilet bowl cleaner.
I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. Let's ask Matt when he gets back.
Maybe he just fucking squirts that on his ramen noodles.
Oh. You gotta keep that bussy clean like a toilet. Okay.
Bussy.
Why clean the toilet when I can clean my bussy? It's the only thing that blasts in the toilet anyway.
So yeah, it's pretty horrific. They're going to do that. So Zuko teaches Aang how to do lightning redirection because he says he'll probably need it because he's going to use lightning on you.
Shit.
What? Wait, did Matt say that or are you saying that?
Saying what?
Spanky just said he had to take a dump.
I don't know.
Spanky, can you hear us?
No.
Let's move on, for fuck's sake. I want to get through this. So the Melon Lord, they make a dummy called the Melon Lord, and they do some like fucking fighting practice. And then Aang gets up there, and he's like going to do the finishing blow, and he's like, I can't do it. Like, I don't kill people. Like, he's a fucking vegetarian. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So he's like, it's not right. And his whole like thing has been...
all life is sacred.
Let's win people over. Like, we don't need to kill. We can, like, win hearts and minds and do the right thing. He's
like Steven Universing his way through the series.
That is the best part of Steven Universe, by the way. I love Steven Universe. It's just such a positive show that I love it.
Yeah.
Steven Universe Future, the follow-up is not.
I have heard some things about the themes in that, and it is interesting, and
it's still positive, but it's positive in like a realist way where it's like, wow, this is all a bunch of traumatic shit that I
I'm excited to listen to that because it seems like, okay, this kid basically watched himself and his friends die multiple times, and maybe it really fuck you up if you saw that when you're like 12 or however old he's supposed to be. He's very young. So anyway, he's basically really fucking fighting over this. Like he's like, I can't kill someone. You know what I mean? It goes against everything that I learned from the monks. All I said, Oh, here we're gonna find out what it is. He said all lives matter is what I said.
Oh,
is
no.
what Avatar Aang is all about, right, Matt?
Is that toilet bowl cleaner?
It's
it's
Woolite couch cleaner.
I was right. I said it was a pet stain remover. I have cats that throw up all over everything. I know.
So what happened was, first of all, I leave the podcast for like 5 seconds and the whole thing falls apart. But
you're the glue.
No,
now your cats are screaming.
Well, and now my keyboard tray fell out. That's cool.
Yeah. He also had.
I had a cat throw up on the couch, and then I had to clean it out. Clean it off. So I cleaned it off with something, but all that did was like take all of the surface dirt and like move it out in a ring. So now I have to try and fix that whole situation. And that's what the Woolite's for.
I see. Well, so what you're saying is that you bleached your couch and now your girlfriend's going to dump you.
No.
Because you don't know how to...
No.
That's a reference to last week.
It is a reference to
last week. Call back to episode 406.
Okay, so Aang's like, I can't kill a dude.
It's actually a callback to episode 404.
And he leaves.
All of our funnies.
Oh!
That's the joke.
Do you know about that? It's a secret episode. Anyway, he leaves, and there's a small island off the shore, and he's like, kind of like, maybe I should go there. And he goes there, and
he's like sleepwalking. He doesn't know that he's going there.
Yeah, he and then this is a point where Toph states, "Everyone else has been on a life-changing field trip with Zuko. Now it's my turn." And she goes with Zuko on the search because they're basically going to go look for Aang. Meanwhile, Ozai says, "Azula, you're staying here. You're going to be the new Fire Lord, and I'm going to be the Phoenix King, ruler of the world." And he goes to the airbase. And then they find the Dick Bender.
And then they fuck.
June, the bounty hunter. You can track Aang.
Oh, that's right.
And then Aang wakes up in the middle of the island, and he looks around. It's actually in the middle of the ocean now. He's like, "What the fuck?" And then we have Sozin's Comet Part 2, the Old Masters.
Oh, big thing was
AKA the Road Hogs, or what was it called?
Wild Hogs?
Wild Hogs.
Wild Hogs, yeah.
Of the Avatar universe.
Well, you forgot
30 to 50 wild feral hogs.
The Dick Bender's animal in the last episode was trying to track Aang's scent.
That doesn't happen until the next episode, actually.
No, it says it right here. I'm looking at a different thing, but it said that they checked it then, and the next episode is them going to find the.
Got it. So
yeah,
look,
like,
nobody knows
Aang
when anything
exist.
happened. It's just unknowable.
And they're like, Aang doesn't exist anymore, so I don't know what you're talking about.
And he's dead?
No, if he's dead, we'd be able to find his body.
Yeah,
it's like no, and so something's really weird's going on with Aang, is what you find out, and then Zuko's like, well, I know somebody else that can help us, and he gets a stinky shoe from his uncle, and they go off after that.
It's okay because like the whole where did Aang actually go is explained in season 2 of Korra. And like
I was about to say this is all a reference to Korra because I saw that I was like when I saw what is in the next episode, maybe the ending when you see what he's actually on, I was like, oh, that's it. We'll see that in Korra. We'll see an explanation about this, which I really liked. Oh, fucking dude, I can't wait to watch Korra. Anyway.
I'm actually excited to rewatch Korra, even though I just watched it in April.
Yeah. So he climbs to the top of the island. He's like, where the fuck am I? I don't know. And then he gets to the middle, and there's this weird, like, rocky area that's not rock, but he can't earthbend it. So he's like, what the fuck's going on? And so he's like, you know what? I'm going to sit down. I'm going to ask the past avatars, like, how can they help me, basically? Like, what are they going to tell me? And Roku is like, I don't know where we are, but what I can tell you is that basically because I waffled around and didn't make the decision to end things with Sozin, it cost me my life. So you shouldn't do that. You need to make a decision and stick to it.
Yep.
And then they're led to the outskirts of Ba Sing Se. and they find the camp of the White Lotus people, which is like all of the cool people that you remember.
All the people know each other.
All of the cool people and King Boomy are together here, and that's the White Lotus. And then he has a really moment, a great.
We should mention that King Boomy, when we last saw him, he was just waiting. But so then when the eclipse hit, he was like, "Oh, this is the time," and he fucking solo takes back the whole city,
entire city. He's just like, you know what, fuck y'all, and he just blows everything up and kicks everybody out. And so they're looking for and of course Boomy is like, your group's missing someone. Where's Momo?
Yeah. And it's like, no, Aang's gone, and he's like, as long as Momo's with him, he'll be fine.
So I think it's really cool but Aang is like, all right, fine. Avatar Kyoshi, she can help me. And she tells that story with Chin the Conqueror, where she had to sever Kyoshi out.
Technically, you didn't kill him; he just fell.
Like,
but I totally would have.
Yeah, that's her response. It's like, no, I definitely would have killed him.
I really don't see the difference, but I would have killed him.
And so he looks up Avatar. I thought he said Korra, but it's Avatar Kurik.
Is that the other water tribe guy?
Waterbender before him. And I don't know what happened in his story because he doesn't tell much detail other than the fact that Ko, the face stealer, which you may remember from the spirit world, killed his wife or girlfriend. And you're like, huh. So there's probably a story there.
Well, no, the only reason that was explained is because Ko, when you see Ko in season 1 or 2 or whatever, Ko mentions that I've met the Avatar before or some shit like that.
No, I understand that, but I don't know why he was bringing his girlfriend to see the face stealer.
I think it was just like I tried to stay out of the whole like Avatar thing and just kind of chill, and then it caught up to him in the end, regardless of what he tried to do.
And so he says, "You must be active in shaping your own destiny." And he's basically mad because the Past 3 Lives are saying, hey, you got to fucking kill this guy.
You have to kill Mark Hamill.
Yeah. So then it's like, hey, maybe I should ask the previous air nomad. They'll probably be on my side about not killing.
Yeah, the air nomad Yang Chen, and it's a woman, and they ask for her wisdom, and then she's like, yes, you're right. You were taught well. All life is sacred. All lives matter. And Aang argues that the monks taught him to detach himself from the world so his spirit could be free, to be enlightened. But Yang Chen says, well, guess what? You're the fucking Avatar.
Yeah,
so
you don't get to get detached
from the world.
Your duty is to the world. You serve them before us.
Yeah, and so if the world is requiring you to kill this guy to keep it safe, then you have to do that, even though it's against.
So basically, air nomads and airbenders can achieve enlightenment and detach themselves from the world, but
Avatar,
no Avatar can do that because they are literally rooted in the world.
Correct, they have to do it. And then you have Zuko goes to Iroh's tent, and he watches his uncle sleep for a while.
Well,
smells his hair.
Should say that
cups his balls.
I don't know if we said
so. Open your door.
That Toph's the extent of Toph's field trip with Zuko was she told basically her whole life story, and Zuko was just like, "This sucks. I'm not doing this anymore."
Yeah. So Zuko, they have a moment. Zuko tearfully apologizes, and Iroh hugs him, which surprises him, and a genuine misty-eyed moment for me there. Yeah, you have this guy who lost his son, but was able to gain Zuko basically as a surrogate son who did the right thing, actually. Didn't follow his mistakes of the past. And that's what happens. And Aang wakes up the next day after having all those troubling, talks with the previous avatars and sees, aren't those mountains moving closer? And he realizes that the island is actually moving. And he swims down and sees an arm paddling. And he's like, huh. And he swims up to see its face. And then, the rest of the team hangs out with Iroh, and basically is like, what are you going to do? He's like, "Oh, I'm not going to take over. I can't take over because if I take over, that's just a brother killing another brother for power.
Yeah,
like it needs to be you, Zuko, because you're the one that has restored your honor. You can restore. You're the rightful heir, technically. I mean, if what's her name, Azula and the Fire Lord were to be either killed or detained, he would be technically the one who needs to lead, and he deserves it because he's not an evil person now.
And Iroh's like, a long time ago, I was given a vision that I would conquer Ba Sing Se, that I would take Ba Sing Se, and I only see now that I'm taking it back from the Fire Nation.
Exactly, that's awesome. He's like, I wasn't meant to take it as the Fire Nation. I was meant to take it back from the Fire Nation. And he's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to open up my fucking tea shop and play some motherfucking pie show. And you're like, all right. And then Aang goes around and finds out that the island is actually a lion turtle. And it lifts him up. And it gives him the wisdom, which is kind of hard to hear because it's got a really weird voice. But he says, the true mind can weather all the lies and illusions without being lost. The true heart can tough the poison of hatred without being harmed. Since beginningless time, darkness thrives in the void, but always yields to purifying light. And then he holds his claws and touches his chest and forehead, making like a green light illuminate. And Aang does not understand the words, but is comforted by the wisdom. And he kind of understands that he'll know what to do when the time comes, basically, which is pretty cool.
Basically, what
I forgot how much of this ties in with Korra.
Yeah, no shit. Because without having seen Korra, what this scene does is, here is your Deus Ex Machina, so you can end this series.
Yeah. It's explained in Korra a lot more. All right, let's get into the Inferno and into some of the fucking coolest shit in the entire show. The animation budget all spent in these last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's fucking good. And the combat is amazing. Like, it is just... Oh.
Yeah, and these were both by JM Animation Studio, who has been trading off with Moy Animation throughout the whole
I was about
season.
to say, this is when they get the big heavy hitters in. I mean, like, I know none of you have watched all of Naruto, but it's similar to what happens in Naruto. There's
I have seen the run.
No, there's a I think it's like episode 133 or something of Naruto where there's a very iconic battle that ends the original series, or at least the comic manga ended, and they got like Production IG, the like movie studio, to animate one episode, and it looks fucking incredible. Like,
I think I've seen that episode.
Yeah, it's insane.
I think because I always said I hated Naruto, and like one of my friends was like, well, you gotta watch that. It was before the sequel ish.
Yeah.
Not Boruto, but like the Shippuden thing.
Yeah,
happened.
Naruto Shippuden. Yep.
And he's like, just watch this episode. It's like the last one, but you don't care anyway. So just, and it actually is really well animated, but I do not like the show.
Oh yeah, the fight scene in that is just anime. I mean, it's like literally it's a ninja fight on a waterfall. Like,
it's really cool.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like this. They got like the fucking amazing animation in this. I forgot how good this stuff was with what's her name, the evil lady Azula.
The Azula stuff is really cool.
I was infinitely more interested in Azula's descent than the whole Fire Lord thing.
And that's what you kind of see in this episode, is basically they got their plan, and Sozin's Comet shows up. And Zuko and Katara continue to the Fire Nation, where they're going to face off against Azula. And Aang is going off to fight Sozin. And Suki and Toph and Sokka are like, what do we do? And they're like, you know what? We can stop the air fleet, basically. And that's what their job's going to be. And so everyone kind of splits off into their own little groups. And Azula's increasingly getting weird.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. When you're a psychopath with no loyalty, you start to think that everybody else is like that too. Yeah. So when you get in charge, you don't trust anybody else.
Yeah, exactly. And so she starts just immediately dismissing everyone for the most minor things. She banishes a servant because she didn't find a cherry pit in the cherries she was eating. You know, and then
she becomes a real Karen.
Yeah, she banishes the Dai Li for being late. You know, to the meeting.
By 5 minutes. She's like, what if someone came in here and killed me in 5 minutes?
And they're
doesn't she also say like you abandoned?
Happen.
Doesn't she also say like you turned your back on the former boss guy?
I can't trust you.
Yeah,
because you betrayed. And they're like, we betrayed him for you.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah. But she's starting to understand that leading by fear only goes so far, and leading by fear always leaves the opportunity for someone to betray you, because they might fear someone more than you, which she kind of sees because she did the same thing. So anyway, they infiltrate an airship, and we got like 3 storylines basically happening at once. That part's pretty cool, but I think it's the most inconsequential part of it, other than the fact that the airships are terrifying. They have a fucking amplified firebender in front. It's like a wall of fire. They're just scorching the entire land.
They're all juiced up from the comet. And just
I know. It's just terrifying.
I think the biggest casualty on Team Avatar in this whole like series finale is Sokka's space sword.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which he loses in the battle. I actually really liked also which is probably setting up a plot line for a season 4 that they were planning but never got to do. Because they've talked about how they had a season 4 plan, but they never did it. So I'm sure finding his sword would have been a plot line. The plot line actually really revolved around Azula and doing the Zuko thing with Azula, because it's very clear from this episode that while she is an insane person, she has some real problems that need to be addressed. And maybe if she could get help, she could become a better person.
Yeah, probably the coolest thing in the Azula stuff, and I don't think we're in that because it's 4 episodes. I don't think we're in that, but like my favorite part of the Azula fight was that when Katara fucking owns her.
Yeah,
and like her watching her swim around and like slowly turn ice to water in the places she needs to swim. That was a really fucking cool scene.
Yeah, there's some cool shit that we're going to get to in that fight, because, I mean, we have the 2 one-on-one fights here.
Yeah, the animation in that fight and the Avatar fight are just fucking insane.
I also want to just give a shout-out to Sokka, who gets the entire crew of the airship that they're on to go into the bomb bay to celebrate a birthday.
Yeah.
And there's one crew member who's like, it is my birthday. They remember.
I love that. It's such a good, like, realistic conversation between like a dude who works in communications and a dude who shovels coal.
They turn stormtroopers into office workers who are like real people.
Yeah. So it's like, I've never seen you before. Yeah, probably because I work in communications. Oh, cool. It's just like completely like that's exactly how it would be.
Yeah. And then one dude comes in. The captain remembered.
Yeah. So we have actually 4 battles that are happening too, because in Bossing say the White Lotus people basically just, and we can kind of speed through this because it's not that interesting, but they
a lot of this is very visual, so like, we describe it where they kicked ass basically.
Yeah, they kicked ass. And Iroh kicks a lot of ass, because he also says like it's every firebender like's dream, or like, you know, only firebender every 100 years gets to feel this power. And he like fucking blasts a huge fucking
he
and destroys the wall. He just starts blasting. Anyway, he started blasting. So yeah, Azula is looking in a mirror, basically trying to do her hair by herself, because she's at this point assumed to have fired everyone that's working around her. And she gets really agitated and gives herself the mental health haircut, where she starts cutting her own hair and looking real crazy, putting her own makeup on, which I really love the attention to detail there, where she's putting her own lipstick and makeup on, and it looks really fucking weird later on.
Because she's never done it before.
She had to do it herself.
Twins, the old lady twins that were in that one.
Oh yeah, she fires them too.
She fires one of them.
One of them.
Poe, you're banished, and she points to the one that's not Poe.
Yeah.
And which one of us is banished? Because she pointed at you, but she said you.
She's at this point kind of just, you know, falling apart because she's unwell. And we see that when in the mirror she sees the vision of her mother talking to her about how she wouldn't miss her own daughter's coronation, and says maybe, you know, the fact that you're trying to use fear to control people is messing you up. And she said that you feared me. And she says, no, I never feared you. I love you. And she freaks out and fucking smashes the mirror And then she begins to sob, and you're like, okay. She had some problems. I mean, their dad is a real fucking piece of work.
They didn't have a really stable home life growing up.
No, especially because their supportive mother was basically forced to flee so her son wouldn't be murdered.
Yeah.
And,
and she didn't have an Uncle Iroh to like keep
exactly.
her level.
That's literally kind of the situation we have. Is that this very well could have been Zuko had he not had the influence of someone like Iroh. I mean, she never had that luxury. She just had her friends that were basically forced to be with her or else be beat up. They were yes men or yes women. And so it's actually kind of the first time you feel bad for Azula. You're like, huh, she's really fucked up. All right, well, off to the next scene where we actually haven't really, I don't think that the Fire Lord fights Aang yet. It hasn't gotten to that point. Looking through it's pretty much all, oh no, okay, yeah, it starts happening at this point. So Ozai basically sees Aang show up.
They do fight in this one.
Yeah, so basically Aang shows up and fucking just launches a bunch of rocks at the Fire Lord's what is it, flagship, and just destroys it basically, and it starts crashing, and he's like, it's fucking on, and he fucking uses his advanced firebending to just jet over there basically, and then they create a huge explosion when they firebending hits each other. It's insane. It's really badass. He takes his fucking clothes off, and he's just this ripped dude, and he's like, I've been waiting for this. I'm going to kill you.
It is now time for a costume change.
Yeah, his derobing animation is really fucking cool because it's he takes off his outer robe.
Yeah, he's got this fucking king regalia.
But when he throws off his main robe, he just decides to incinerate it while he throws it off. So it just bursts into ash when he throws it off. It's fucking
also
cool.
True. It is fucking badass. And I just can't stop gushing about how good this all looks. The fight with him, Aang and Sozin, is just incredibly animated. Azula's coronation begins, and Zuko's like, hey, no. And before she's even coronated, she's like, you know what? Let's fight for it. Let's have an Agni Kai. Earlier she tells the two sisters, elderly sisters, to do an Agni Kai to just to decide who's banished or whatever or something, or fight, and then they're like, we can't do an Agni Kai because neither of us are firebenders, because Agni Kai is a firebending fight. And so she's like, never mind, you're banished then, whatever. It's okay. So they have a pretty badass fight that is also incredible. It's blue and yellow or orange fire. And Zuko's like, oh yeah, because Katara's like, well, we came together because we were supposed to fight her together because you didn't think you could take her. And he's like, something's off. She is looking weird.
She's a real nut bar.
Yeah, and so he's like, I think I can exploit this to win the fight with her. Meanwhile, Aang and Ozai are basically fighting blast for blast. And of course, Avatar gets that lightning shot at him, basically. And then he prepares to redirect it back, but he's like, I can't kill him. So he redirects it into the sky, and fucking Aang gets blasted because of that. And he gets blasted off a rock.
But it's because Ozai does some fucking kung fu chiropractor surgery on Aang's chakra.
Yeah, Aang basically hits his scar from when he got almost killed, and it kind of opens up his chakra at this point. Because you see him get down, and he's trying to recover, and he basically just turns himself. Oh, we got to talk about
that's at the beginning of the next one.
We got to talk about another thing.
So we might as well just treat these as one episode because it all is pretty seamless.
Exactly. We got to talk about the amazingness that is Toph's metal bending when she takes the fucking the bridge of that ship, because she metal bends a fucking suit of armor around herself and just to protect herself from the fire blast, and just fucking annihilates everyone in the fucking bridge. oh my god, it's so awesome. And then Sokka's like, can I just say it's so cool that you invented metal bending?
Yeah.
Which is just awesome.
Toph's like, you could stand to mention it more often.
Yeah, I love Toph. So Zuko and Azula are basically destroying the entirety of like the like courtyard and a lot of the surrounding area with their insane fire battle. And Azula's going to lightning Zuko because he's like, you're not using your lightning because I'm going to redirect it back at you. And you know that...
And she's like, oh shit, I might lose. And
so then... why not take someone else out?
Time to start fighting dirty.
Yeah, and so she sees Katara sitting on the sidelines and shoots the lightning at her. And of course, Zuko jumps in the way to save her. But he's able to redirect it, I guess, enough to not kill himself. But he's very hurt from it. And he's got a huge wound in his chest, close to his heart, but not enough to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And Katara's going to go help him, and Azula is like, no, and starts laughing like a fucking maniac. And now we have Katara versus Zula Part 2, which is awesome. And then let's get to that's the final episode basically. Yeah. And then Aang is in like a fucking earth-bended ball around him while he's just getting blasted by Ozai, and that's where like the episode ends, where it's like I think these played back to back when they aired. I couldn't imagine.
On Netflix they are. Yeah.
Okay, I was like, I couldn't imagine having to wait between those two episodes.
But when he was in the toaster ball, that was before he got chiropractic in his back.
Yeah, that's it. That's true. That's what happens next.
Get him getting blasted out of the ball. He gets chiropractor.
Yeah, and so his chakra is opened up, and he's able to get into the Avatar state. And Ozai kind of approaches the pile of rocks, and he's like, ha, 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 ha. Come out and face me. And then he gets grabbed by his beard, and you see Avatar state Aang come out.
Yeah, and he's just kind of like, oh God. Shit. Fuck. Oh,
shit. He does the awesome thing where he makes a sphere of air around himself. And then he gets like stones to spin around himself, and then a ring of fire to spin around himself. And then like water, and it's like he's got every element.
So he's just got all the elements like spinning around himself.
And now he basically gets to beat the shit out of Ozai.
Yeah.
Because
so there's like one of the attacks he does is he takes like these like microscopically thin segments of rock off of the rocks and just like machine guns into
and like blows up like half the fucking pillars because they're fighting in this like canyon area with like tons of pillars, which looks really cool. And then basically in the capital, Azula's just basically blasting fire and lightning all over the courtyard, destroying everything. And Katara's trying to hide away and find some water.
Yeah, she finds the sewer.
And then what happens is that she finds the sewer grates with water underneath them. And she's like, you can see she gets some thought in her mind. And she basically lures Azula over to there, and she bends the water immediately all around him, springs the attack. And does
she
the
frost
awesome thing
her.
that you mentioned earlier, where they both freeze themselves. But then she just unfreezes the water around her and where her hands are so she can move and grab Azula's hands and chain them together to the grate. So she's unable to...
She can't firebend if she can't do the motions.
Move her hands. I mean, she can firebend out of her mouth, which you'll see later when she's yelling. But basically, she can't get at them.
Yeah.
And she starts going insane at this point, where she starts just wailing, crying, screaming, and blasting fire and writhing on the ground. You're like, oh my God. She needs help. Which is awful.
That's kind of what Steven Universe's future is like in comparison to like the rest of the show.
Yeah. So she goes to heal him, and she sees, thankfully, that she's alive. And then, here it is. Azula sees her brother rise, and she just goes crazy, and she just flails, screaming, and it's just like, okay.
She's full on feral now.
And so Aang now gets all of the elements together, and to deliver a final blow. He like fucking is fighting him. They're blasting around. Then he gets him like the Fire Lord like on the ground with like earth covering his arms and legs, so he's trapped and he's ready to blast him with the final blow.
And then flashback.
And then he can't do it. Oh wait, what flashback?
Well, it flashes back to what the lion turtle.
He's talking to the lion turtle. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so,
he's like the original benders were spirit benders, basically.
Mm-hmm. Well, between that, before the flashback, but after he can't do it, he just kind of lets him do free, and then they do this kind of like they're both out of breath, and like the fight might just end. And
he's out of the Avatar state too at this point too, because he's just standing there, and he's just like, I can't do it. Like you need to change. I'm not going to kill you. And
Ozai tries to take advantage.
Yeah, Aang releases Ozai from his bonds and says, "I'm not going to end the fight this way." And Ozai's like, you're the most powerful being in the world, but you're still weak. And he tries to strike him with firebending, but Aang uses the Toph's earthbending technique, to see him get up and start moving without, being facing him.
Yep.
And quickly just immediately shackles him to the earth. And he's like, and this is, I think, the point where Aang was like, at the point where I'm not going to kill him. I can't. But then he realizes like, there's nothing I can do. This guy's not going to do anything but try and kill me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm stuck. What can I do? And then he remembers the lion.
Turn them into flashlights.
Yeah. So he remembers what the lion turtle taught him, and like where the lion turtle pointed to his chest and to his forehead, basically. And he tries to do that, basically. And uses the technique to bend Ozai's energy.
Yeah. And I think there's some lion turtle narration that's like, you must be completely like unmoving, otherwise you'll be corrupted by this.
Yeah. And so then they basically bond their energies together, and he takes Ozai's energy away, is what happens. Yeah. His firebending has been removed.
Mm-hmm. His PP no work anymore.
Which, when you think about it, is the ultimate best way to end this. The Fire Lord is defeated because he can no longer use what he used to strike terror, basically. He lost. You didn't have to kill him, but it's basically like better.
And he really couldn't be a martyr either for like any people who were still loyal.
Exactly.
To him.
He's there. Like, he just can't bend anymore. He lost it. And Sokka calls him Loser Lord. Which I like. And then Phoenix, king of getting his butt whooped. And then Suki's like, king of the guys who don't win. And Toph is like, you know what? Leave the name calling to us. Yeah. And then we get a flash forward to kind of what's happening in the future.
Yeah, we totally skipped over the part where Sokka takes out all the other airships by running his propeller over them. But we don't have to really get into that.
There's so much.
I just want to acknowledge that Sokka's also awesome.
Sokka's the badass. Yeah, because he comes up with all the plans.
Sword.
Yeah.
And
he comes up with a plan to like and destroy all the ships. He tells Toph to like change the rudders. So the ships run into each other.
They get to the point where Sokka and Toph look like they're going to die. And then he's like, wait. And she's like, did Boomy come back? No, even better. It's Suki. So who had taken over an airship and had come to rescue them.
Not Boomy, Boomerang.
That's what I call the Boomerang. I forgot there was a character called Boomy too.
Yeah, yeah.
So everyone's reunited in the Fire Nation capital city. Basically, all the people that were free are free, and they see their parents. Sokka is distressed to see Ty Lee is now a Kyoshi warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Zuko is trying to get him dressed up, and some goth GF shows up to help him get his clothes straight. And she and Zuko kiss and says, "Don't ever break up with me again, or I'll murder you." And Sokka immediately gets rock hard because that's what he's into.
Zuko.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, just Zuko, not me or anything. Yeah. All right. Anyway, everyone's reunited. Ty Lee is now a Kyoshi warrior because she enjoyed hanging out with the girls, and they say that she's taught the Kyoshi warriors like the bending,
the chakra blocker.
Chi blocking.
Chi blocking. Yes, thank you. Technique. And so, she's very happy, and so that's a good ending for her. Zuko is the Fire Lord. Aang is now the airbending master, basically. He's got the robes and everything that you see some of the masters wearing in the flashbacks. And they kind of reminisce of, like, how crazy of a fucking year this was.
It's
a year ago, I was frozen, and you were trying to kill me.
Yeah, it's the
Sorry,
dream that Roku and his buddy could not realize, where like
Exactly.
suddenly the Fire Lord and the Avatar are like in league together.
Friends. Yeah, they're like best friends, and it's amazing. And Zuko gives a big speech about how he's the new Fire Lord, and this will be a new era of love and peace. We'll see how that worked out in Korra.
Oh, great! Just great. I mean, like
it actually does work out. So, but other things happen.
that they always do. That's the thing.
There's no longer a giant war, but it's actually
I think the one thing that like.
Go ahead.
In Korra, like the one thing that you don't get explained to you is that like really anything about Aang, like the comics, but like you don't get.
Be prepared not to know anything about Aang and how he died because there's another Avatar.
They never like they and I kind of respect it because they go into Korra like this is Korra's story. Aang is relevant because it was the previous one, but like. We're not going to tell any more of Aang's story in the show, and they really don't. Like,
I don't think Aang even shows up,
though, right?
Like as a vision or anything.
There's like 2 flashbacks.
Okay.
Yeah,
but there's no like talk to you from beyond the like, none of that bullshit.
Yeah. So it's really beautiful in the fact that like they're basically able to break the cycle and make it. But in Korra, actually, it's like I don't know if you've seen the musical Hamilton on Disney Plus. But one of my favorite lines from that musical is winning is easy, leading is harder. And that's kind of what Korra is.
Yeah.
It's, okay, the war is over, but how do we make the world work as a peaceful place?
The skill sets to getting elected and the skill set of
actually leading
are two very different skill sets.
Correct. The Fire Lord's like fucking ragged, and he's like, maybe there's redemption for you, but also fucking tell me where my goddamn mom is, because she didn't die, like you said. And so again, another link to a possible season 4 narrative that we never get.
I believe in the comics they do explore that.
Okay.
Yeah. And we'll probably get it in the live action series. That's definitely going to happen and won't be shelved, right?
And so, Sokka and everybody, they go to Ba Sing Se, and they see and Zuko's there too, and they're all having tea at the Jasmine Dragon, where Iroh's finally able to live his dream of being a fucking a tea bender.
Sokka paints a portrait, a group photo of everybody.
A very bad portrait where Suki's firebending because the painting needed more action.
Yeah,
so that's Sokka.
My favorite part of that is everybody's complaining about their own depiction in the picture, and Iroh's like, my belly's not that big anymore. Like I made a lot of progress. Calling back to when he got super fucking ripped.
So, and then Aang goes outside and is kind of like looking at the sunset and saying like, this is so like amazing. Like everything has gone well. And Katara follows him out, and they kind of have a moment and they hug and then they kiss like a real adult kiss. And it's like okay.
With tongues and everything.
And that's over. And then the show ends. What do you think about the Katara Aang relationship? I actually remembered it being more involved than it actually is.
Aang's still only 12.
Spanky's dying.
Spanky, your internet.
Spanky, open your door.
I mean, like, sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry. My thought as like the typical asexual response is that like I didn't feel like there was any attraction between them at all, except for like he's 12 and there's a girl and like that's it.
Yeah.
Whereas I felt like there was a lot more emotional connection between Zuko and Katara. Maybe not like relationship wise.
That's what
like,
my wife said. She thought we were going to hook up.
They seemed a lot closer as people to each other than just friends than Aang and Katara ever did.
I thought that there was a lot more of Aang Katara love like stuff in the show than there actually was. I thought I remembered it more of it than there really was. Having rewatched it pretty quickly here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more Aang fantasizing, I think, than anything else.
I feel like they probably should have not have them kiss at the end. It would have just been better if maybe they held hands. Although they did that with
like
Korra,
just watching it, just like
Korra
watching it as an adult human person. I'm just like, you're fucking 12. Like maybe you're in love now, but that's not gonna last. Come on.
Well, we'll get to Korra and see their children, but
and that's children. The thing. Like I don't know. You could have that as like the story, like. Maybe they did beat the.
Like I don't think we needed it to end the series. I think the series would have been maybe better suited with an ending where everybody joins them out on the porch and they look at the sunset and it's kind of like, this is our future. Like we can lead this world. But I think maybe they were forced to do that by Nick. Maybe like we got to have a fucking romance interest ending.
Gotta get that girl demographic.
That's Sokka and Suki. Come on, you already have that.
They already fucked. It's over.
They fucked vividly on. That might have been a website I saw. I don't. Yeah. I get it all mixed up.
Anyway, so what's next for the Bite Book Club? What are our thoughts on Avatar?
I really can't judge until I've seen the True Vision, which is the M. Night Shyamalan movie.
I want to see the James Cameron film.
Get that unobtainium.
Yeah. So I think, is that what we're going to do next? Is watch the terrible M. Night Shyamalan
So
movie?
I think because I don't want to just watch garbage, I think we should do the first chunk of Korra as well. And maybe spend like 10 minutes talking
So we are
about
watching Korra next.
I want to. I mean, I'm going to watch Korra. I don't really care if we talk about it on the show.
I just wonder if we want to do the next Bite Book Club for Korra, just because...
Might as well keep it going.
The other possibility is this whole Steven Universe thing I've heard so much about.
Oh my god, I would love to that because I've been watching it, and my wife actually likes that show, unlike Avatar, which she didn't like.
We could do that.
I've seen all of Steven Universe multiple times, so I probably wouldn't even need to do a rewatch. And Ewan's actually doing a watch with their parents right now, and like. So I've actively got someone talking to me about like rewatching the show after I've rewatched it like 3 times. So
I think maybe that's something we can look in the future
about Steven Universe.
I just wish I would like to watch Korra as well. I'm in the.
I'm gonna watch it like regardless.
So maybe we should. I mean, Spanky's already watched all of it. Mm-hmm. I would like to watch it. I
want to rewatch.
A tense talk with my wife about me making her watch stuff that she doesn't want to watch. And me saying I'm watching 90 Day Fiancé.
And you being like, hey, if you're going to enter the business, that's in direct competition with my business.
And she was like, well, I'll just watch 90 Day Fiancé without you, to which I didn't want to tell her that I absolutely don't want to do that because I want to keep watching that show.
Oh, yeah.
But I also want to make her watch Korra with me.
That is, from what I've heard of 90 Day Fiancé, that is 100% satisfying your misery vampire urges.
It's so good.
Yeah.
There's good stuff in it, though. There's actual like nice couples in that work out, but there's always the couples that are a train wreck. And especially if you start watching the offshoot series, there's before the 90 days. That's when people meet for the first time in person, which is a fucking whole shit show in itself. And then there's 90 Days the Other Way, where the people move to another country to live with their significant other.
Yep.
Yeah, so all right. Into that
so we'll watch the Avatar movie, and then maybe the first 5 episodes or
4 episodes, because Korra's seasons are shorter.
Yeah, they're 13 on average, so let's go 4 at a time.
Yeah,
4 finish, 4 finish.
4 5, 4 5. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then this is gonna be more later, but started yesterday. Cobra Kai season 1 and 2 are now on Netflix. So Karate Kid Cobra Kai needs to get in the book club. I'm gonna push for this because it's fucking amazing.
Maybe that can be next, and then we can go back to animation.
We should have like a Google Doc with a list or something. So
we could
don't
do Adventure Time.
That's true.
I don't know if anyone's seen that.
I've seen a couple.
I would say Matt probably not seen it.
I've seen a couple episodes and I was not high enough for them.
I will definitely say Adventure Time is the lesser of the Rebecca Sugar Cartoon Network. properties.
She didn't make Adventure Time. She was a storyboard artist on it.
Oh, I thought she was a writer as well. Okay.
Well, she was, but she was.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying of the properties on
creator.
Cartoon Network she was involved with, it was the lesser.
Yeah.
Because Steven Universe is one of my favorite shows.
There's also a show done by Rebecca Sugar's partner. Okay, KO, Let's Be Heroes. Which
I am John _ Danger.
Oh, fuck.
I'm Matt Haig Music. Go to matthagmusic.com for a bunch of shit.
Bornintheeighties.net.
Discord //80snot.born.com.
Twitch.tv/May of May. The link to my Twitter is also there. And heck, I did streaming with my kids today. That was fun.
I'll have to check that. I'll have to check out the VOD.
It's a short stream. It's only about 40 minutes. We were playing all 3 of the main Gen 3 Pokemon games: Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald.
Nice.
I would like to go ahead. Sorry,
I'm Spanky. What's up?
Nice,
TJ.
nice, Vicky.
Are you able to Nuzlocke tomorrow?
Yeah, give me a time. I'll be there
sometime in the afternoon.
Okay,
because I'm gonna be busy at night doing a little bit of an enquirage.
Busy at night, you know.
But now that Spanky has joined us for a raid, the guild is going to collapse.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
and Spanky, you'll be there tomorrow night for AQ 40?
Yeah, I think so. We're short on people again.
It's not like Spanky's doing anything else, though.
Well, we're not nearly as short on people as we were the other
Spanky really hates the pressure of raiding.
I get it.
Yeah.
Especially as a healer. I tried healing in a fucking World of Warcraft raid once, and it was so overwhelming.
Dude, I'm not healing. I'm not tanking.
Here's the thing about being a healer.
Here's the thing about World of Warcraft. We'll talk about it for a couple hours.
Little Buster Rhymes. This is really good. We ready to get started? Are we on Twitch yet?
Yeah, we should be.
Oh, there's a fucking X-Men fucking Fortnite crossover.
What'd you say?
Yeah,
do you know,
it's
do you know
full
what made
Marvel.
Fortnite good is if it wasn't the game that it was, and then I would want to play it because I really dislike it.
I don't think you're the target audience for Fortnite.
I know. I just don't like the whole battle royale genre feels over. And it's kind of funny because most of their oh hey, another call from Washington D.C. Awesome.
Answer it.
Nice.
Answer it on the air.
All right, I'll play it.
So put that into there. Put that into there. And what's the difference? Just have to subtract it.
Hey guys, it's Olivia from Apple Support.
Your iCloud account has been breached. Before using any Apple device, please contact the Apple Support Advisor. Press 1 to connect with Apple Support Advisor. Press 2.
Hello, this is Olivia with
or if you
Apple
wish to
Support.
contact us later, please call us on our toll-free number, 315-232-8257.
Their toll-free numbers, the 313. My favorite toll-free.
Why do you even have an iCloud account for your Android phone?
Oh,
I don't. Why are they doing this to me? Let's see. I have received. They're spoofing numbers too because I'm getting numbers of businesses and stuff that show up now on my thing, which is awesome. Let's see here. How many calls have I gotten in the last hour? Or in the this afternoon when it started? So since 5:44 p.m., I guess is when it must have started. I've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 calls. It's about once every 20 minutes. Almost on the dot. And it's a different 687, 202-687 number. So I can't even block them. because this is a different number of time.
Stop trying to turn me on, Spanky.
Are we on fucking Twitch yet?
Yeah, I said that like an hour ago before you started fucking around with your phone.
An hour ago.
Yeah.
Let's see how long you've been streaming. Let me just open up the page and see where it's at. 2 minutes we've been on Twitch.
Look, what does time even mean right now?
That's true. All right, I'm going to turn off Discord so I can listen to audio. I'm going to turn down Discord's audio.
Facts don't care about your feelings, snowflake.
All right, here we are. John is talking, and he's talking, and then hopefully nobody is talking. And then Matt, and then TJ, and then Spanky.
Yo, it's your boy Matt. I'm talking now.
TJ's here. Lots of background noise and whatnot. Spanky?
Hey, what's up? It's your boy, Skinny Penis.
That was a good Batman impression.
Hey, it's your boy, Skinny Penis.
Very good.
I like that vine. All right. Are we ready to start?
I guess.
Pop your peas.
Pop your pussy.
Welcome to Born in the 80s, episode 407. I'm your host, John Danger, joined by my co-hosts,
Matt Danger. Did TJ freeze, or is he just not responding?
Okay, so TJ's expression has not changed.
He's got the mute
muted.
thing too. Yeah.
So I think TJ's died. So we got to restart that when TJ gets back. But then we also have.
He might have had to help a kid with homework or something.
Who's down there?
What are you
Spanky's
doing?
not even responding or.
You're pointing in the wrong direction.
You have to redo it, I said.
Oh well, it's different on mine.
Yeah, it's mirrored for you. You nincompoop.
Who's that down there?
You ignoramus. I'm Bane. I was born in darkness, molded by it. You've only adopted the darkness.
I see. Thank you for that, TJ. I like that TJ's just a static face of him staring. Like you can't tell that he's not there. Okay, now the camera's. Oh my god, that was amazing. Well, I guess we're not starting. Oh, we can start. TJ can jump in. We got his levels fine. Yeah. Oh, here he comes back. Hey, what's up?
Internet exploded. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
Hi,
Internet
TJ.
Explorer.
No, internet exploded.
Internet Exploder.
Welcome to Born in the 80s, number 3. This is the 3rd episode of Born in the 80s, the podcast.
It's a brand new podcast. We're working out the kinks. I've never talked on a microphone before.
All right. Let's get started. Wait, I gotta find the filter that I actually wanted. All right, here we go. I'm ready to start, boys.